little ATM machine.
Mm-hmm.
It lets you.
Oh, let's try this. All right, let's try this. Is it better? Better, worse, the same? My audio should be much better now. Yes.
There we are. We're here. We're live, baby.
I apologize about that. I had the wrong mic settings on my StreamYard, so I apologize for that. Let's go back through that, since I'm sure you guys didn't hear any of that. I'm David On Point. I'm the executive producer of Prime Sports World. That's Mr. CEO of Mr. Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. We are going to bring you our full 2022 NBA draft coverage. At least the first round. I got a little bit thrown off there with. I also wanted to thank everybody who watched our show yesterday. It was our most successful show of all time, with 10,000 viewers basically watching that show at any one point yesterday. So we want to give a heartfelt thank you for everybody who watched the show yesterday. It really does mean a lot to us here at Prime Sports World. And if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to hang out. We go live basically every day, bringing you guys the most up-to-date content. So please continue checking us out at Prime Sports World. The viewership has been up substantially over the last month, so we cannot thank you guys enough. Izzy, what's up, man? How are you, buddy? I didn't realize, I had the wrong mic settings. I'm not sure how that happened because I haven't changed anything, but it should be good to go now.
Thank you, David Henderson, for telling, for letting everyone know I'm the future GM of the Jets.
I thought he got downgraded. Last time he was the owner, now he's just the GM. Man,
it's a downgrade, dude. I'm doing well, brother. I hope I don't have too much noise. I'm driving actually to one of our buddies, Andy's house right now. So just driving right now. So hopefully there's not a lot of noise. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this draft, man. 4 more minutes. We kind of went through this yesterday. 1 through 3 is pretty much solid, and the draft pretty much starts at number 4, right? So
it's 100% true. I think there's going to be a lot of movement potentially in the draft in the first after first 3 picks. I think that's going to be pretty much. I think it's pretty much set in stone who the first 3 guys are going to be. There are always some surprises. But this coverage is going to include graphics. It's going to include videos. So everything you look for when it comes to this kind of coverage, we're going to provide that for you at Prime Sports World. It's something that we strive for to give you a professional experience when it comes to watching content through YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, whatever you decide to watch us on. Right. We want to give you a professional experience.
Yes. And yeah, like Woj said, and a lot of other NBA pundits, they expect a lot of trades to happen tonight. So I'm excited. I mean, I threw out a couple rumors out there. John Collins to the Pelicans. I'm looking for that. I'm looking out for that.
Well, that John Collins to the Spurs thing is like that seemed to be. There's so much smoke there. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. What was the other one I sent? DeJounte Murray getting traded as
Yeah,
well
to the Hawks
to the Hawks. Yeah.
for John Collins, straight up, basically.
That would be.
I don't really understand that trade on either side of that. Like, I don't think I wouldn't do that if I was the Spurs, and I wouldn't do that. I don't necessarily think that's a good move for the Hawks either. I don't know about that one.
The only way I see that going down like that is if the Spurs are like, okay, we're gonna get Johnny Davis.
Even then, I don't think that getting Dejounte Murray also fits their timeline a little bit better. That trade is a head scratcher. I don't think it makes any sense, a lick of sense.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. I wouldn't trade my all-star point guard at all either
for John Collins, a guy who's been just okay as a pro.
Yeah, who's been okay. I mean, when he's on the floor and when he's healthy, he's one of the more athletic power forwards in the game. I'll give him that. But yeah, not for DeJounte Murray. 6'7" point guard. He's basically your new generation point guard that we see now. We see like the Cade Cunninghams.
Yeah.
We see the LaMelo Balls. They're all 6'7", 6'6", can see over the defense, long, athletic, can run the point as like true point guards. I don't see Greg Popovich getting rid of that, even though you think Greg Popovich is only going to be there another year.
I have said that. So yeah. So let's talk about some.
I think you know what I told my friend today. I said, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if Houston threw a curveball at us and picked Jaden Ivy.
I would be shocked if that happened. I would legit be shocked. The only way I can see that scenario playing out is if like Chet Holmgren, like if people don't really like, because he only sent his medicals to 2 teams. If those 2 teams were like nah, and the other 2 teams were like yeah, we're not taking him because they've seen his medicals. We know what's up. We're not taking. He could slide a little bit in this draft, I think.
Yeah, no.
Do I think that's going to happen? No, I think he's going to be the second overall pick in this year's draft.
No. I think he's going to be the second overall pick. I mean, he's a no-brainer for the OKC Thunder. I mean, pairing him up with SGA, Josh Giddey, you got Chet Holmgren, you got Puko there. If Alexander Pokusevski can,
that dude is an absolute non-factor when it comes to like.
Do you
anything.
think so?
Yeah,
he's another 7-footer. He's another 7-footer that can stretch
he hasn't developed his game at all. Like he hasn't really.
It's been a year.
He hasn't played. He hasn't done anything that I think.
1 year. It's been 1 year.
He's been like 3 years, but he hasn't done anything.
No, really. 3 years. It's been. I think it's been a year or 2. I think it's been 2 years.
I think this was his 3rd season.
No, it's not his 3rd season. No, it's not his 3rd season. I don't even.
We'll talk about. We'll talk about Oklahoma City here in a minute. TJ's going to be on the show here in a couple of seconds. I've also invited some of the IMS and OMS students that I currently teach a school that I currently teach at. So they may jump into the show. Shout out to the Illinois Media School and the Ohio Media School if you're looking for a education to learn how to work in the media. Pretty good options there with the Illinois and Ohio Media School. Shameless plug right there for you. But yeah, let's talk about the Orlando Magic. So on paper, their roster actually looks kind of good. Like they have some really nice pieces that they've drafted over the last couple seasons. Jonathan Isaac, Franz Wagner, who the Bulls are killing themselves over. If they could have him right now, they'd be all about it. They took Jalen Suggs last season, who had a tough rookie season, but he kind of turned it around towards the end. Cole Anthony's a nice player. Wendell Carter Jr. might be on the best contract in the league. And then Mo Bamba is a restricted free agent who they might let lock. They have RJ Hampton. They have Markelle Fultz. They have Gary Harris, who's a restricted free agent or unrestricted. They have Terrence Ross, who's a pretty nice trade chip. So if you're Orlando, what are you looking to do with this pick as they are on the clock currently right now?
Go get Jabari Smith. But let me tell you something. My friend told me something about Chet Holmgren. He's like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go Orlando throwing a curveball and getting Chet Holmgren because him and Jalen Suggs used to play on the same high school team. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Mr. Jabari is Jabari Smith. He should be going here. He's more NBA ready. Got a more NBA ready body, but he's the guy that has got the higher ceiling in my opinion of both of those guys. So yeah, they'd be, I'd go with Jabari Smith. He's got it on both ends of the floor. And
what do you think about this player comp for Jabari Smith? Rashard Lewis for player comp for Jabari Smith.
Yeah, the nightmare.
Yeah, I think he'd be like a modern day Rashard Lewis. Like I think that's actually a pretty good comparison that I've seen. Like shout out to Hoops Reference who made that. I don't know if you watch Hoops Reference. He's a YouTuber. He's the one that compared him to Rashard Lewis, and I think that's a pretty good player comparison.
That's an excellent comparison. That's an
Yeah,
excellent.
the guy can stretch the floor. He can play some defensive. He's a good defender. He can also put the ball on the floor and score. Yeah,
That's an excellent comparison. And we'll get to it here. I mean, they're probably gonna take all 5 minutes to rush to the clock. I'm not watching the draft right now on TV, but they're probably gonna take the whole time to come.
I think they will take as much time as humanly possible to make this selection. Unfortunately, we got Adam Silver on the show. He's on. He's up there now. Adam Silver. The draft is underway. But yeah, if I'm Orlando, I think you have some nice foundation pieces there. I just think you need to continue to build up this roster. Anything you can do to kind of bolster, just get the best player available because they have some nice pieces I mentioned earlier. So yeah, Orlando on the clock. Congratulations to them to winning the lottery and ending up with the first overall pick. Pretty exciting for that fan base, if there is a fan base for Orlando. Because when I went to Orlando for Disney World, or it was like Universal, like they didn't even have any Orlando Magic like gear. Like, can you imagine going to Walmart and not seeing a single Bulls thing? Like even like in off-season time.
Oh, Huffy Poo Poo. Huffy Poo Poo.
Hey.
Sorry about that. He wanted to give a shout out.
Okay. Oh, it was my boy Davidoff right there. We are going to Forbidden Door in Chicago. So if anybody's going to Forbidden Door in Chicago, feel free to give us a shout out to Prime Sports World as we kind of check out Forbidden Door. Even though now CM Punk is not going to be there and Daniel Bryan is out, so that kind of sucks. Man, Adam Silver is really nursing this intro here. Another mock trade. And I think there's going to be a lot of motion, a lot of movement at the beginning of this draft for sure. I mean, maybe like after pick number 4. Well, as long as we're waiting for Adam Silver to finish talking here, let's take a look at some of the highlights from some of the top prospects in this year's draft. Let's first start with Jabari Smith, the projected first overall pick in this year's draft. So this is a little bit of his highlight package as the Orlando Magic are on the clock here. Jabari Smith is right here. He's pulling up for 3.
They'll catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulling
Okay. I was just. That way it's easier to just do that.
Yeah, Venmo, Zelle, I have all of them.
Yeah, so this is some of Jabari Smith's highlights. As you can see, the guy can really shoot the basketball.
He's sick with it, David. He's sick.
He can really shoot.
See that pull up.
Yeah, this is the one. This is one of the guys for consideration for the first overall pick. We got Jabari Smith. I almost said Jabari Parker. But he does remind me a little bit of a taller Jabari Parker. Like he's got a silky smooth jump shot. He's like really, he's a good defender. He's a good two-way wing. Like, look at that. Like, bang. Like that's what you want. That's what you want out of a guy who's your first overall pick.
Bang.
So last time the Orlando Magic had the first overall pick, they took Dwight Howard. I think that worked out pretty well, right? Man, yeah, I think you're getting a lot of interference right now. You're breaking up a little bit there, man. So Woj is now saying that the Magic expects to pick Paolo Banchero as the first overall player. Wow, that would certainly be something if that happened. If you're watching this on ESPN, Woj is giving some analysis before the pick. The Magic have 3 minutes left on the clock as they try to make their selection. Let's take a look at Paolo Banchero's highlights. Now that we have something here to think about a little bit more. So if you hear what I said, Woj is on TV right now. He said he expects Paolo Banchero to be the first player taken in this year's draft.
Moment center, Hayes in right, left side of the infield is Nevin.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. I'm here. And like I said, guys, feel free to jump in. I'm not sure if anybody's here waiting in the wings
No, not
here.
yet.
But feel free to jump in and join. I know I got a lot of Bucks fans here that were interested that might trickle in here around the Milwaukee's pick.
So this is Paolo Banchero's highlights. Woj just said they expect him to be the first pick, and the Orlando actually have made their pick. So we're just waiting for Adam Silver to come up and make it announce it. So it's either going to be Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, or Chet Holmgren. I'm still going to lean towards Jabari Smith. I still think that he's the safest player in this year's draft. I will be interested to see what they actually do when it comes to this pick. As we wait for Adam Silver to approach the podium.
Look, we've got some audio difficulties, David. I can't per se hear you.
That's 100% on you. Actually, I'm kind of low. 1 second. All right. How's that better? Better or worse? The same? Because you're getting a lot of background information. So Adam Silver's at the podium. With the Orlando Magic have taken Paolo Banchero out of Duke. The pick is in. Orlando has taken Paolo Banchero out of Duke. Wow. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit surprised by that decision.
Wait, so Orlando, what was their pick here?
They picked the forward Paolo Banchero out of Duke, forward out of Duke.
Holy
So yeah, that's the player they've chosen. So a lot of the experts were wrong. So he's not going to be a.
That means that is a big shakeup here in the top four now.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a big shakeup.
If I'm OKC, I'm running up to the podium to get Jabari Smith. That's crazy. That is wild.
Yeah, so I mean, he has all the intangibles you look for in a player that you're going to take this early in the draft. He's got the size, he's got the skill. The dude can really, really score. And a lot of other big boys, he's 6'10", 235. There is some concern that he's the weight loss thing during games. But I mean, the dude can flat out play, and he's an excellent basketball player. Let's take a look at some of his highlights. We were doing that just a couple minutes ago, but now that he is officially the pick, let's take a look at what this guy can do.
He reminds me, David, he reminds me a lot of Carmelo Anthony. His game reminds me a lot of Carmelo Anthony. Just his size, he's just a pure bucket. He's got a real smoothness to his game. I'm so shocked here, man. OKC is rushing up to go get Jabari Smith.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty shocking pick. Most people are pretty surprised that this guy went at number one. I think if you maybe the Houston Rockets, you're probably a little disappointed because I think Houston really wanted him and they probably would have taken him. I heard rumors that he would have taken him at number one overall if he was available, which obviously he is not. But yeah, the guy has all the intangibles. He has all the skill set you look for a guy you're going to take this early in the draft. So good on Orlando.
If you're Houston, Chet Holmgren isn't a bad second option.
No,
here.
definitely not. So let's go. Let's swing over to Oklahoma City. Their roster is a little bit interesting. So they're semi in a rebuild, but they have some nice pieces already on the team. Like and they have a treasure chest of assets. But for how long is Oklahoma City going to continue to semi rebuild? Like eventually they have to push this towards being a competitor, right? And being a competitive team on the floor. I mean, SGA is a borderline all-star player. Josh Giddey may have been the best rookie last season if he hadn't gotten hurt towards the back at later end. Lou Dortz is a restricted free agent, but they could trade him to get some value. Trey Mann had a good rookie season. You talk about Poku, who I'm not crazy about. Isaiah Roby, Darius Baisley, all good players. They just traded for Jamichael Green. I'm not sure exactly what that does for them. Jeremiah Robinson Earl. But what this team really needs is a big. They need a guy who can come in at the 5 and be a steady force at that position. Or a wing. So I think Oklahoma City has some decisions to make here. They're 2.5 minutes away from being, making the decision. I'll be interested to see what they actually end up doing when it's all said and done. I think I'm going to change my mic real quick. Hello. All right, so I just switched on my mic a little bit. Hopefully this is sounds a little bit better. So the pick is in for the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're just waiting for Adam Silver now to come up to the podium, make the selection. I'm gonna take a wild guess, and I'm gonna think it's gonna be Chet Holmgren who's the pick here. What do you think?
I'm actually gonna go with you on that one. I think it's gonna be Chet Holmgren. I think Jabari Smith falls to Houston here at number 3.
And I don't think there's any losers in this situation. Like if you end up with any of these 3 guys, I think you're going to be pretty happy with whoever you end up getting. Like all 3 of these guys are going to be probably pretty good basketball players. But you got kind of feel for Jabari Smith. You go through this whole draft process. You think you're going to be the first overall pick, and then you end up having to sit there. All right, here we go. Adam Silver sure is taking his sweet time here. And I'm guessing the NBA wants to get a little bit of their money's worth here. All right, here comes Adam Silver. And the pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder is Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is now going to be a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Power forward out of Gonzaga, or center out of Gonzaga. What do we think about this pick?
I think this is a pick that I think Oklahoma City already had the plan. They worked out Chet Holmgren. They got their guy. They want to pair him up with Josh Giddey and SGA. They think Chet Holmgren could have, they're getting away with the number 1 overall kind of talent here. And we've seen, the second overall picks in recent memory have been pretty good. But this is a really good one. Chet Holmgren's a 7-foot unicorn. Can really handle the ball, can shoot it, is very skilled, is a rim protector, and
he's an elite defender. Like
he's an elite defender. Yeah,
he's an excellent defender. Like he should be able to come in and make an absolute difference on that end of the floor immediately. There are some concerns about his frame.
Give me one moment here.
There are some certain concerns about his frame and what position he'll actually end up playing in the NBA. I think he's probably going to be a center. He reminds me a little bit of, obviously, of Porzingis. He reminds me a little bit of Porzingis when Porzingis was coming out. 7'2", can shoot the ball from the deep. Because Oklahoma City had the lowest attempts at the from 3-pointers in the league last season. So to have him now to be in that situation, I think that's actually a pretty good spot for him. He should be able to crave off the dribble, The dude has an interesting skill set that you don't normally see out of somebody this tall and lengthy. Like, he can really handle the basketball. So yeah, I think this pick makes a lot of sense for Oklahoma City. He can space the floor. The problem is, so his ceiling is extremely high, but I think his floor is lower than both the guys that just went in this draft. So I think it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening there. Let's take a look at some of his highlights as he is now a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So here's shooting the three. That's basically the NBA three right there. Making that shot. Same thing with that shot as well. And you can just see the length as he takes the ball all the way up the floor. Obviously, this is against Santa Clara, which isn't exactly an elite basketball program, but still it's out on the three, bang bang. This kid can really play, and for Oklahoma City, if you're still in the middle of this rebuild, you need to get good players, and eventually you got to hit on one of these guys. If they get anything close to Porzingis out of this guy, I think that's a win. And here comes Chet Holmgren again, shooting the three. That's basically the NBA three as well.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, Oklahoma City. So shocked about Chet Holmgren. I'm not shocked about Chet Holmgren. Shocked about Paul Banchero. But like you said, man, if they could get anything like Kristaps Porzingis out of Chet Holmgren to match with SGA, to match with Josh Giddey, I mean, oh my gosh, that is the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we saw this coming. We saw this coming when they got rid of Westbrook and they got all those picks for Duran, for Westbrook and Duran or whatever the case is. Was it Westbrook, if I'm not mistaken, when they blew it up?
Well, no, they got all the assets for Paul George actually.
For Paul George,
so they got three first-round picks for Paul George at that time. So, but they need to make sure that they get a star out of one of these guys. I mean, they got one SGA. Josh Giddey looks promising. But we'll see.
Now I will say this about Chet Holmgren. He does need to add some muscle. You did mention his size. He's lengthy. He's got great athleticism.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Moving on now to the Houston Rockets and around the clock. They got 2 minutes before they got to make their pick. Me and TJ kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. The Houston Rockets are in kind of the ideal situation. They basically just take whoever's left here. I do not think they're going to throw a curveball and take a Jaden Ivy. They're going to take one of these three guys that we've been talking about as the best three players in this draft. Jabari Smith, 6'10" forward. I compared him to Rashard Lewis. I actually think that's a pretty good comparison. You can make an Antoine Jameson. Paolo Banchero reminds me a little bit of a Chris Webber type because of his ability to create off the dribble. But yeah, Jabari Smith should be the pick here when the Houston Rockets eventually come up to the podium to make the pick. I'm surprised they haven't already made the pick, given the fact that he's just going to have to take him. Also adding into the show, we got TJ Hopkins. Welcome into the show, man. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about that, Phil.
It's okay. It's all good. It happens.
It's just so annoying.
So let's real quick before we get to the Houston Rockets, or just talk about the Houston Rockets, just reaction to what we've seen so far.
Super surprised that Banchero went first. I legit thought that with all the talk about Mo Bamba in free agency, that the Magic would go Jabari Smith at 1. No surprise that Chet Holmgren went 2. Like, that's been the consensus. Jabari Smith looks like he just got off the phone with somebody, so he's
probably going to be the next pick. He's probably going to be the next pick in this draft, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah. Oh, good. Kendrick Perkins is going to say some stuff.
What's that? What is that noise in the background?
I think that's Izzy. I'm gonna mute him real quick. Oh, I don't know actually what that is. Maybe it's coming from my mic. I'm having mic issues right now, so it could be me. Is that better? Has it gone away?
No, I'll still hear it. Whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that is.
All right, it's gone.
That's for sure coming from you. Something from you on your end.
I got it. Yeah, it's Jabari Smith.
Yeah. So the pick, Jabari Smith going to the Houston Rockets. What do we think about this selection?
It makes the most sense. I mean, like it's the fact it's like you said. It's the fact that they waited 2 minutes to make that pick makes absolutely no sense. So I'm looking at, well, you probably got, what's his name? Jalen Green, KPJ at 2.
Yep.
You go.
I mean, you got the kid they drafted last year, Sengun at the center position. You either play Jabari Smith at the power forward or the small forward, and you still have Eric Gordon on the roster who could play some free minutes if you wanted to play
him. Eric Gordon's likely going to be traded, so
probably.
Yeah, look for him to be playing elsewhere at some point. But yeah, this makes the most sense.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, this makes the most sense. Like, it's the fact that they waited is like, what are you waiting on? Like, 2 teams passed on them. You should have been.
I mean, there is a scenario where if they really love Jaden Ivy, I mean, Jaden Ivy could work at your point guard. You could move KPJ to the small forward position. He's like 6'7" or something.
But then, no,
or you could just put Jalen Green at the small forward position. He's a taller. I don't know. I think because we play in limited positionless basketball. I mean, Jaden Ivy does have an immense amount of upside when it comes to. Let's actually just like swing it right into Jabari Smith. So we're going to Jabari Smith. Let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. They're on the clock now. They have some major team needs. Basically everything that isn't, Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Everywhere else, I mean, they could use an upgrade almost everywhere else. Where do you see them going with this pick in the draft?
They gotta go front court. I don't know who's. So like I mean
Keegan Murray makes sense here.
Yeah, I would have to go Keegan Murray at this point. Like you need a front court guy that's not named Sabonis, that's not named Rashawn Holmes, who
I like.
We don't know.
I do like.
I mean,
Rashawn
I like
Holmes.
him, but we don't know what's gonna. We don't know what's gonna happen with that. I don't know his contract situation.
He's locked up for a hot minute.
Okay. Yeah. The Kings have been notorious for passing up future picks. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. No one saw the mishandling of Marvin Bagley playing away, playing. Like, no one saw that. Like, so, like, for them to be like, you passed over Marvin Bagley, like, you passed over Luka for Marvin Bagley. At the time, like, no one knew they were going to mishandle Marvin Bagley that way. Like, that's just
I mean, it is Sacramento, so maybe you could have seen that coming.
True, but at the same time, Marvin Bagley filled the need that they feel.
100%. And he was, he was a good player in college. He was a good player all around. Like, he was not a bad pick. The pick is in for Sacramento. We're just waiting for them to, as Adam Silver does. They may have traded this pick because they have Woj and was it one of their other analysts? Yeah, Bobby Marks, and one of their other trade expert guys on the TV right now.
It's looking like it's Keegan Murray. They're talking a lot about Keegan Murray right now, so that makes do what makes the most sense.
Because Jaden Ivy, I think he's his ceiling is better, but you literally just tried to fix this logjam you had at the guards position by trading away Tyrese Halliburton. Why would you go back and make another situation? Why would you make another situation where you'd have to trade away one of those guys? Because you're never going to be able to get any of those guys developed if they all have to split minutes like this.
Because we legit ran into, we legit proposed, when they drafted Davion Mitchell. So, all right, now at the time, when they drafted Davion Mitchell, you had him.
Here comes Adam Silver.
It's Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray is the pick for the Sacramento Kings. He is the forward out of Iowa. Thoughts on the selection?
Again, it makes the most sense. It's the smart decision. Don't overthink it. Right? Like it's the smart decision. They're in a new direction with Mike Brown, so obviously, Mike Brown can now focus on building the Sacramento Kings to his liking, so they can play the brand of basketball that he likes. Keegan Murray is he's a smart kid out of Iowa. He was a Wooden Award nominee,
Yep.
right? The Big Ten had about 9 of them. They had like 9 potential Wooden Award nominees, Naismith nominees. Like those are like the top. It's just sold across the board. 2021-22 consensus first team All
Best
American.
conference in basketball.
Like
Best conference in
he's not
college
wrong.
basketball. They should.
He's not the fact, and it's the fact that they haven't won any national tournaments is not here nor there. But
No.
23.5 points per
Yeah.
game last season for Iowa. Like obviously you're not going to average 23 points per game as a rookie coming into the NBA. Like it's very few and far in between.
6'8", 215. He has a skill set that easily translates to the NBA. He's also a little bit of an older player, sophomore. 21 years old already.
Yeah.
This comp on this website, what's the website right here? Sportingnews.com has him compared to. I don't really like this comparison, but Pascal Siakam, I don't really see that. But
I don't.
teach their own,
Okay,
I guess.
see, my thing is, I don't like comparing new players to players that are currently playing. So the whole Jabari Smith being compared to KD, I don't like that because KD's still playing. All right, like that's
Or
that's
Rashard
Yeah.
Lewis.
I said Rashard Lewis. His game reminds me of Rashard Lewis. Or Chris Bosh.
Better because that's better. Like those guys aren't playing, but he's KD. He's like there's been 5 different players to be quote unquote the next KD, and none of them have turned into anything remotely close to Kevin Durant. So
one of your guys, one of your guys
don't do
that you was very high on. Well, one of your guys that you was very high on that you thought that TJ, I'm gonna hold you accountable to this one. Your boy that was playing at Memphis. What was his name again? Imani Bates.
Is Imani Bates?
That didn't pan out so well.
I mean, he's not even in this.
Wait. Is Imani Bates? Did he declare for the draft?
No.
Okay,
no.
So
What are you talking
about?
If he would have had a hell of a hold on. But hold on. He was
Either way,
he was touted to be a top 10 pick.
So is Patrick Baldwin Jr. So is Jaden Hardy. I mean, come on, what are you talking about?
Right. That's so irrelevant,
bro.
Like that is so irrelevant to this. He's not even.
No.
Imani Bates ain't on nobody. Like you bringing up Imani Bates, but this is
No,
not even about
no.
him.
You said hold on. You said Imani Bates was gonna be better than Victor Wembanyama. Didn't you say that?
Bro, they not even in this goddamn draft class.
It's not even relevant.
No, but you said that. You said
Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Why does that matter right now? That's irrelevant.
No, because he brought up KD, and this man said that this man said
he's bringing up stuff that's irrelevant to the current conversation. It's not important. Why is he bringing up 2 dudes that's focused? That's going to be the focus of next year's draft. They are irrelevant.
Moving on from second.
Right now.
Imani Bates won't be the focus of next year's draft.
Bro, stop talking about them. Buddy. They're not in this draft. They're not important right now.
Moving on from there, we got the Detroit Pistons on the clock. David Henderson says glad they went to the retro logos. I actually used to love the logo with the horse. Yeah, they used it like the. Yeah, that was super cool. I like that one a lot. But yeah, the retro logo is cool. They're on the clock. So what are we looking for Detroit to do? Jaden Ivy still on the board. I mocked them trading up to get Jaden Ivy. I do think that's what they're going to do here with this pick. Look for them to take Jaden Ivy. I think him and Cade Cunningham would be a lethal 1-2.
Again, they are guard heavy, so I don't know what they're gonna do. You still got 2 guards on this roster that you still need to figure out what you have, and Saban Lee, and I get Killian Hayes is coming off an ACL?
I don't remember. He injured his back in his first season. Yeah, he injured his back in the first season, barely played, and then I don't remember exactly what the injury was his second season. I do not think that he is part of the future plans of the Detroit Pistons. I think if they could get anything for him, I think they'd trade him away. I mentioned this yesterday.
I'm trying to find out what his injury was. It was a doesn't say. It doesn't say. But he did get it was a hip injury.
Yeah,
It
hip
was
injury. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He came back towards the back end of the season, and his numbers just weren't good this season. So I mean,
we got a little
in.
spicy there in the last little talk here. We got a little spicy there. Jesus Christ.
So he played in 65. He played in 65 games. He played in 65 games for the Pistons.
Heat on me, boy. You brought that heat.
It's true. But yeah, he was right though. You brought up a bunch of irrelevant stuff that literally had no bearing what we were doing right now.
None whatsoever.
David Henderson said they need to get a complimentary shooter.
I just want to throw that out. I just want to bring up some fluff here, just some fluff here.
They're not in the draft class. It's not like you didn't have to.
Here comes Adam Silver right now. The pick is Jaden Ivy, the point guard out of Purdue.
Jaden Ivy.
Yeah, Jaden Ivy. So, I have been talking about this as potentially being the scenario for a while now. Jaden Ivy is the best two-way guard in this draft. He gives them a versatility that they don't already have on the roster. The dude is lightning fast, and he's a good complement to what they have in Cade Cunningham. Lightning fast. Like he has like Russell Westbrook face.
You could switch off. And you could switch off on both of them having the ball. So, one can have the ball one play, the other can have the ball the other play. Both of them can handle that ball. So they both complement each other, him and Cade Cunningham. This is a great pick. I thought Benedict Mathurin would have been probably a more of a fit in terms of whatever. I thought he would have been a better in terms of a fit for the roster and what they needed. But this is best player available. Go get Jaden Ivy. Fell right into your laps right here.
Yeah, Jaden Ivy, intangibles, 6'4", 200 pounds. As I mentioned, he may be the fastest player in this draft. Explosive, electrifying. His numbers from his freshman to sophomore year really took a major leap. He fights contact in the paint, same physicality, translates defensive end, where he can be extremely disruptive as a perimeter defender. So he kind of gives you on both sides of the floor. So I'm using another website. I don't really love this comparison either, but they said his comp is Ja Morant. As TJ said, you kind of hate. I know. This is what this website did. Just let it. I'm just saying that's what they did. We'll see what he ends up being if he ends up being. But he does have all of the intangibles you look for in a guard, and him and Cade Cunningham should really complement each other nicely on the floor.
Because what that does is it creates unrealistic expectations. Like, all right, you've been compared in comp to Ja Morant. Like, who's in his what?
Prime. He's not even in his prime. He's not even in his prime yet.
Not even in his prime. Come on, man. So now Pistons fans hear that, and it's like, hey, man, they compared this kid to Ja Morant,
there aren't any Piston fans in the world. Except for, I guess, David Henderson is shockingly a Pistons fan, I guess.
Who's still developing his game, right? Like, Ja Morant don't even have a consistent three-point shot yet, but we're going to compare this kid to, again.
Hell yeah, you want to expand the team owned by me.
Look at this. We're taking a look at some of his highlights now. Yeah, this guy is electrifying. He's explosive. His leap from year one to year two is going to be nice. Look at that.
So
how fast this guy is.
Keegan Murray. Both him and Keegan Murray. Both him and Keegan Murray's leap from year one to year two were tremendous. We're you're just out of this atmosphere. But yeah, this kid's amazing, man. This kid's amazing. They got a steal here.
Again, it just goes back to like all these. The Big Ten has a bunch of talent, and they just can't seem to get past the second weekend of the tournament. You're starting to wonder, like, why is all this talent not producing at the college level, and what's going on? Again, that's neither here nor there. But this is he's the first. Is he the first Big Ten player? Yeah, he's the first Big Ten player off the board.
No, he's not. Keegan Murray was the first player.
No, Keegan Murray. He's the second Big Ten player off the board. Murray was the first one. It's two Big Tens, one dude from Gonzaga, whatever conference they play in, that weak shit.
WCC.
So moving
West
on
Coast
real quick.
Conference.
Moving on real quick. So the pick is in for Indiana. Let's talk about it real quick before they come out and make the selection. What do you think Indiana's going to do here?
It's gonna get Benedict
Dyson
Mathurin.
Daniels.
Benedict Mathurin.
I think they
Mathurin
go
like
Dyson
that.
Daniels.
I think it's either going to be. I think it's going to be Shaden Sharp or Dyson Daniels.
Wild card, they go Jalen Durant because they might move off of Miles Turner at some point.
I will believe that they're going to.
I
will believe that they're going to move off Miles Turner when they actually move off Miles Turner. It's turning into one of those situations that you always talk about, where like. Until they actually move off.
Until it happens.
Until Miles Turner is no longer a Piston, I'm just going to expect to see him there forever.
Well, it says on the thing like they need a wing.
Yeah,
like Buddy Holiday.
Buddy Hill right now.
Buddy Hill is technically a 2, so he's not really. He's not a true wing. They need a true small forward.
Dyson Daniels from the G League Ignite. Oh no, Benedict Mathurin.
If Dyson Daniels,
Benedict Mathurin is the pick of the Detroit Pistons. It's Benedict Mathurin.
You mean the Pacers?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember what I said. Yeah, Benedict Mathurin is the pick for the Indiana Pacers. What do we think about the selection? What was he? Pac-12 Player of the Year.
Out of Arizona.
Increased his points per game in the from his first season to his second season. Really is a 3-level scorer, and the dude was really good in the tournament. He was really good when the lights were brightest. I remember Arizona. He basically saved Arizona in that game against what was in the Elite Eight, where they're going up against Utah. I want to say, maybe not Utah, but there was a game where they were for sure going to lose. He basically dragged them from the draws of defeat in that game.
Yeah, he's the Pac-12 Player of the Year. Was he?
Yeah. Going to the Pacers.
Yeah, 17 points.
Sorry, go ahead.
Solid pick. No, solid pick. Can't hate it. Don't knock it. I think he falls victim to that West Coast bias because he goes to Arizona. Not a lot of people are staying up late on the Central and East Coast to watch Pac-12 basketball unless you really love the sport like that. Like, so he's not really talked about a lot because of that. Like, we saw a lot of Paolo Banchero and Jabari Smith, and they forced Chet Holmgren down our throats. All right, like because of the school he goes to. Yeah, I think he definitely falls victim to that West Coast bias. Like,
for sure.
It is what it is. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but I think he should come in immediately and give the Pacers a solid punch.
I agree with you. He's a 3-level scorer. Like he can literally score from anywhere. He is a good basketball player. Like, you're getting a guy who can give it to you every single.
He gives them something that they don't have, and that's an athletic. He gives them something that they don't have, and that's an athletic wing.
Yeah, I mean, you could either come bring him off the bench, or I mean, if the Pacers decide to trade Buddy Hield and start him with the shooting guard, I think there's a lot of things you can do with him. It just gives him a lot of versatility. As you were looking at some of his highlights,
I wonder how he's going to respond to the coaching style that is Rick Carlisle. You know, Rick Carlisle, that cup of tea ain't for every young player, as we saw with his tenure in how his tenure in Dallas ended. So, I mean, like, if there was ever a coach that you would want as a rookie, if there was ever a coach you wanted to get sent to, I mean, it is Rick Carlisle.
That's true. True.
But I think Rick Carlisle is just now coming around to that. I have to play my younger players because that's literally all you got. So you got to play the young dudes because that's your team.
So real quick before we get into Portland, David Henderson has a basketball question. Do you think now that Coach K is gone, do you think the Duke's talent pool going to the NBA dries up in the next 5 to 10 years?
No, because Duke is still Duke.
I tend to agree with you on that. I think as long as Duke University has the cachet that they have right now, they're still going to be a top flight franchise, and they're still going to have great recruiting classes.
Right, and let's not act like the guy that's replacing Coach K, John Schuler, is is a bum. Like he
Shire.
is a Coach K product. Shire. He played for like Illinois kid too. Illinois Mr. Basketball. I forgot what year, but he was Illinois Mr. Basketball.
He was
I
a
got
Mr.
into it
Basketball
during-
before Derrick Rose took over the state.
Real
Mr.
quick,
Basketball
I got-
before, I think in 2006.
Portland's only got 50 seconds on the clock. What do you expect Portland to do here before they they come back with their pick? But yeah, I agree with you guys. Yeah, Duke is still going to be Duke. Portland.
Yeah, no, Portland right here probably goes with Dyson Daniels in my opinion. If going back to the Duke question, before Coach K got there, Duke wasn't anything. Coach K actually literally made them who they are today, and so literally John Shire just takes the torch from Coach K, and John Shire is going to be there. He's a guy that's going to be there 15, 20 years, 25 years. So.
For Portland, yeah, I think I think Dyson Daniels is a possibility. I think Shaedon Sharpe is also a possibility, especially if they don't make especially if they don't decide to trade this pick, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen right at this point. I think it's going to be Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe makes a lot of sense. He basically replaces CJ McCollum.
I also feel like if a trade was going to happen, it would have happened long before tonight. The way they were, for the guys they were talking about trading for, yeah, that would have happened long before tonight. Come on, David.
Yeah, maybe. All right, for sure. But yeah, I think Shaedon Sharpe or Dyson Daniels, one of those two guys, should give them a good compliment to Dame Lillard. Especially if this team just seems to they're going to try to compete next season. They're not trying to phone this in and blow this roster up, which I don't really necessarily understand or get. But to each their own, right?
No, not T-shirt, because again, that's like we've seen this. We've seen this story before across a bevy of teams. You're either in it or you're not. The worst place you can be is in between. Like good enough to win some games, good enough to go to the playoffs, and then once you get to the playoffs, whatever happens depending on the seeding right? Maybe a favorable first round matchup, you win that, and then you get bounced in the second round by a team that's so much better than you that it's not even funny.
Here comes Adam Silver. The Portland Trail Blazers have taken
Shaedon
Sharpe. So they took Shaedon Sharpe, the guard out of Kentucky. As his story behind him, he never actually played a game at Kentucky. He reclassified and then basically never played. He's eligible for this draft. Shaedon Sharpe is the pick of the Portland Trail Blazers. So what do you think about that selection?
I mean, like he was the one. He's the quote unquote wild card of the draft because no one's seen him. Right, no one's seen him play. So they don't know what he is. They don't know what he can do. He was supposed to play for Kentucky, never played. So he is going to be the one wild card that no one is expecting much out of. I mean, like, you were drafted, what pick is this, 7?
It's 7.
Is this 7?
Yeah, 7. I'm 7 pick overall.
You're drafted 7th overall for a reason. So now you have to validate why you were drafted 7th overall. Right, like a lot of people are like, if they don't question this pick, then it's because why? First off, why aren't you you're pinning your hopes on the guy who didn't play at the next level?
Yeah, it is a very big gamble, but the dude has all of the upside in the world you're looking for. Like if you want to talk about the intangibles of a player that you're looking for, Shaedon Sharpe. I mean, 6'6", 200 pounds. If you watch any of his high school tape, like he's elite at lesson. He's a prolific scorer. Jalen Green is the comp that this website uses. I know TJ, but this is what they did. I'm just rattling it off because that's what they said. But yeah, he has those kind of upsides where he can really score the basketball if they need him to score. I like this pick a lot for Portland. I actually think it's a real high upside pick. This guy could be one of the wild cards in this draft because as you mentioned, nobody's seen him play in like a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah, so like I don't know the highlights they're using right now. I don't know where these are from. I don't know if these are like pro-am runs or. So
the highlights that I have are from You Play Canada in the Canadian League.
Okay,
so let's just take a look at those. Right? Like as long as we're having some fun. So this is him. Yeah, this is him in You Play Canada. So I'm assuming this is high school. I don't.
EYBL.
And as you can see, yeah, this dude can really shoot the basketball. He's got a pretty quick release, fluid. You don't see a lot of like that weird jerk that some people have in their jump shot. Like you just basically pull up from anywhere.
So it's basically like AAU.
Me
it's basically like AAU ball. So it's like 17 and it's like a 17 and under kind of league. Like it's a youth basketball league. It was founded 12 years ago. I just looked it up.
Okay.
And a lot of players have come through. Like if you said in Canada.
Yeah. Is this Andrew Wiggins? Did Andrew Wiggins play in this league?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this kid has some skill. Like he can play. He's got the athleticism. He can shoot the basketball a little bit. I think this is a pretty solid pick when it comes to the Portland Trail Blazers. So moving on there.
What's his name? Usually Andrew Wiggins, R.J. Barrett, SGA. Not wait, is it SGA? No, SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Kelly Olynyk. Back when he was, I think Kelly Olynyk was like one of the first few.
Okay.
So yeah, Canada's trying to come up in the world basketball rankings. They should.
Yeah, good for
Jamal
them.
Murray,
So apparently, let's move on to the next pick. The pick is in for the New Orleans Pelicans. This pick is originally from Los Angeles, part of the Anthony Davis trade. New Orleans Pelicans on the clock. What do we see them doing here with the 8th pick in this year's draft?
I think in the mock, where did I go? Jeremy Sochan.
I had them taking Benedict Mathurin, but now that Dyson Daniels is still on the board, I think I'm going to have them take him, small forward out of the G League Ignite.
Yep, Dyson Daniels got to be the guy here, man. Best player available.
So he's the number one guy on the board.
He does remind me a little bit of Brandon Ingram just with their size, but you can never have too many Brandon Ingrams on your team. Let's be real.
The issue that
they could use a true center because I don't think Jackson Hayes is the answer.
I think the issue that they come across is if they go Dyson Daniels, now you got to reconfigure the rotation, right? Who starts that point for them?
CJ McCollum probably does. I mean, they bring Devontae Graham off their bench. They have, so the pick is in. So Adam Silver's out at the podium right now. Let's see what they end up doing here. The pick is Dyson Daniels out of the G League Ignite.
We didn't see that coming.
Guard out of the. Yeah, we just mentioned it. Yeah, we all just talked about him, and yeah, this guy's going to be the pick of the New Orleans Pelicans. Man, the Lakers got to be really kicking themselves. They could use a player like Dyson Daniels on their roster. So what do we think about the selection?
It's what is this suit he got on? Forget the selection. Let's talk about this suit he wearing.
Yeah, it's like he wrapped himself in aluminum foil.
I swear to God, like, who did you talk to about this suit? And they sent you all the way off, bro. Like,
I like it, man. I like it.
You would.
I like it. I like it. I don't hate it. Dyson Daniels, G League at night. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good looking suit, man. What's wrong with it?
No.
You're just a hater. You don't understand. You don't understand fashion.
You don't. If fashion is walking around looking like a nickel, then I'll gladly pass. So with Dyson Daniels, now you have to figure out your rotation. Right, you got to reconfigure that. Do you start him? I mean, you don't draft a guy 8th overall and not start him, which is kind of why I was upset when they got Jackson Hayes at 10 and was bringing. I'm like, bro, like, he's the 10th pick in the draft. You drafted him top 10 for a reason. Play him. He had no business in the G League unless he was injured. And I think Jackson Hayes did get hurt. So there's that. So now you have to figure out your rotation. Do you start him alongside CJ McCollum?
Yes. Right? Yeah. I mean, but you put Herb Jones on the bench and whoever else they got. I mean.
So now, so now it's your second unit is probably looking like Devontae Graham, Jose Alvarado. So you're severely undersized at the guard position coming off the bench.
Okay.
Hurt. Like if Zion stays healthy, then Herb Jones and whoever else calls himself, a power forward is coming off the bench. All right. The NBA looks like come on. No Adam Silver slander. He's been a godsend for the NBA.
Yeah, he has been. He has been really good. Like the amount of money that the players are making now, based on the fact that he's the GM, the commissioner of the league. Yeah, good for him.
So
is he had a lot of background interference? I had to mute you. Man.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. No, Dyson Daniels gives them another guy that can handle the ball. That's a playmaker. That doesn't all have to go on Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum now, but he's a guy that's going to come off the bench. TJ mentioned it; they're severely undersized coming off the bench. As much as I love Jose Alvarado, the bigger guards in the league or that come off the bench are going to feast on him. He's a very smart defender, but this guy right here has got some size. He's your prototypical kind of combo guard, wing player that's going to be able to.
He's probably going to be a small forward when it's all said. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being like 7 feet tall, like when he's done like growing completely. As I mentioned yesterday, like he's probably, they'd say he's 6'8" already. So I mean, he's the type of, he could give you defensive effort. I mean, he work hard as a slasher. Yeah. He should really be able to give you some really nice.
Again, this is just me personally. I have a hard time believing the validity in that. Like, so at the combine, leading up to the combine, he was 6'6", and out of nowhere he just grew 2 inches. Like, where?
That's the rumor. That's the report. I mean, all I can do is report on what I'm hearing, man. But yeah, for the Pelicans, I think this is a pretty solid selection. We got 2 minutes away from the San Antonio Spurs pick, so let's talk about them a little bit before we get into their choice. How do you see them going in this draft as we got 2 minutes before the pick comes in?
Again, we both had guards going. I think the two
of
us I
didn't have guards going to Spurs. I had them taking Jeremy Shoshan, the power forward out of Baylor.
Oh. Because I thought you agreed with me with them going guard because outside of DeJounte Murray, they don't.
I agree with you going with a guard later. Like they have 3 first-round picks, so I don't hate the idea of taking a guard later, but like they have an abundance of guards. Like I agree with you. They got to continue taking shots at this, but at some point you got to build up other parts of your roster.
No, they don't have an abundance of guards. They have one guard that's worth talking about. Lonnie Walker is not it. Devin Vassell is not it. They don't have an abundance of guards. They have one guard.
All right, fair enough. All right. Sometimes you're just right, okay? Is that what you want me to say? Joshua Primo's.
This is Johnny Davis all the way right.
Josh Primo, like
Trey Jones, Keldon Johnson, still sort of an intriguing young player. Romeo Langford's on this roster.
Come on, David, you're reaching now.
Keldon Johnson is still an intriguing young player.
But he's not like a combo guard. He's like more of a small forward, man.
It's true.
Yeah, he's a 3. He's a 3. He's
more of a small forward.
He's 6. He's only 6'6". In like every other era, he'd be a small forward or shooting guard. He'd be a shooting guard.
He's a small forward. I don't even think Keldon Johnson even has the.
He does play. He does start at power forward for them because he's a really good shooter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I have them go. I have them going to a big man here. I think taking Jeremy Shoshan. He's got a little Draymond Green in his game. He can kind of contribute in a bunch of different ways, and he can run your offense through him as like a point forward.
How many first round picks do the San Antonio Spurs have? Don't they have 2 in this?
3.
They have 3.
Yeah,
they can afford to go get a big man later on in the draft. Go get Johnny Davis right now.
None of them are as interesting as Jeremy Shoshan. Like he's just got something to his game that I like.
We'll see. But you pass up on Johnny Davis. You're passing up on one of the better combo guards that's going to come out the draft. A guy that can potentially be an all-star for you. I think he has a trajectory to be an all-star right here. I think he's the second best combo guard, in my opinion, next to Jaden Ivy in the draft. But that's just me.
And he also was one of those players that made that jump from year 1 to year 2. Like his numbers from year 1 to year 2 were pretty substantially. Like I think he like an 18 points a game average, or
the only knock that Johnny Davis
seven points as a freshman, 19.7 as a sophomore. That's 12 and a half points basically.
Another guy,
And
just like Keegan Murray, right?
Pick is in. The pick is in. We're just waiting for it to be announced or notified. Yeah, we're just waiting.
Just waiting for the notification.
Again, if I wouldn't be upset if Jalen Durant went here.
Me neither. I wouldn't hate it at all. But I think they can go get a big man that can rim protect later on in the draft if they got 3 picks.
That's true. Walker Kessler is going to be on the board. Kai Soto is going to be on the board. As you know, I think
you better stop with that. Oh my gosh, trying to piece of the crowd over there, guys.
I'm saying he's there. He's going to be available later.
He's going to be there. Oh, you know what? I'm not actually watching the draft, so whatever you guys say, man, it's going to be news to me. So I'm watching and hearing just like you guys right now.
Well, I'm watching it live. And here we go. San Antonio's on the clock. Silver's at the podium, and the pick is Jeremy Shoshan, the forward out of Baylor. Man, I think that's actually the first pick I've gotten right since actually second pick I've gotten right in this mock, I believe. As Jeremy Shoshan is now a member of the San Antonio Spurs. What do you guys thought about that selection? Forward out of Baylor.
Stretch 4.
Well, he's a physical player. We all know the style of play that Baylor plays. It literally won them a national championship the year before, and we saw they almost who they get into a dogfight with. Was it North Carolina in this year's tournament? They got into a dogfight with North Carolina in this year's tournament. So I feel like he fits the style of play that Popovich wants to play. He has no issue being physical. He's leaving one brand of physical basketball, going to another physical brand of basketball.
Yeah, so 6'9", 230, physicality, a good defensive player. He can run your offense a little bit. He does have some of that. He does have a little bit of that Draymond Green, I think, in his game. And I think that's really why he's been so interesting for draft prospects or for analysts. The fact that you could run your offense through him, and he does give you a different element that you kind of see out of most of the forwards in this draft.
And this is from Woj. Since Washington is on the clock, Johnny Davis is going to Washington. This is from Woj. So,
all right.
That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be nice.
Final thoughts on.
Yeah, my thing is on Jeremy Shoshan. He averaged 9 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 47% from the field, 29% from 3. But my thing is, I want to see, a little bit more playmaking ability out of a top 10 pick with Jeremy Shoshan. Which is why I thought that the Spurs would lean more towards Johnny Davis.
Yeah, but I think this guy did a lot of stuff that doesn't really appear on the stat sheet. I
understand, and he could end up being like Devin Booker, right? Devin Booker the stats didn't pop out at Kentucky because he had so many damn players that he was playing with at Kentucky, and then he got in the NBA and he blossomed. So this could be one of those things. I just look at some of his just that stat line, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't really pop out to me. But you're right, the tape does pop out. Whenever he does, some of the things that he does do.
I mean, we're looking at his highlights right now, and he's able to put the ball on the floor and create his own offense. I mean, that's the kind of guys you need if you're going to be a successful NBA player, especially at the power forward position. If he can really develop a consistent 3-point shot, the sky could be the limit for this guy.
Okay, you've had all summer to get your board in order and the possible what ifs, what could happen. You don't need 5 minutes to make a pick. Come on, man. Leave the shit off.
Moving on now, we got the Washington Wizards on the clock. As TJ reported, Johnny Davis is expected to be the pick here. But if they decide not to go Johnny Davis, what do you think is another scenario where another way they could go with this pick?
They go Jalen Duran.
I mean,
They
Thomas
go
Bryant
AJ
is a free.
Griffin.
Thomas Bryant is a free agent. In my mock draft, I had him taking Jalen Durant, the center out of Memphis. If they decide they want to move on from Thomas Bryant, or he's just not worth spending money on to keep.
No. And then AJ Griffin, you go AJ Griffin, the possibility of losing maybe Bradley Beal via trade. It hasn't came out yet, but I mean, he's not unhappy there. If he requests a trade, they may trade him. You swap him out for the best spot up 3-point shooter in the draft with AJ Griffin. But Johnny Davis makes total sense here. You can build around a guy like that.
And if for some reason Bradley Beal decides he does want to stay,
best combo guards in the draft.
If Bradley Beal decides he wants to stay, I mean, putting Johnny Davis and Bradley Beal as the 1-2 punch in your front court, I mean, that's pretty solid. That's a pretty nice move.
Well, it's also $36 million he would leave on the table if he was to opt out of Washington. So,
well,
yeah,
that would just be. I mean, he's gonna sign a brand. He's gonna say yes, he will. He's gonna for sure opt out and try to get a brand and get a new deal. He's got till the 29th to do it. There's no rush.
Yes, kinda.
No, you can do that whenever you want. The timetable's is in his favor, not the team's.
What are you talking about? No rush. That is 6 days.
29 days. But he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do it immediately. Like, there's a conversation that needs to be had here. Like 29. He doesn't have to do that until June 29th. I know that's 6 days.
6 days. So you're gonna deal with for 6 days in a row. Hey, is Bradley Beal opting in or is he opting out? Is he opting in or is he opting out? Is he opting in or is
it's not like
you've already been.
I know he went on that podcast, on the Draymond Green podcast, but like you can just like tune out and just do whatever you want to do for a couple days, man. Like NBA players don't do what we do, where they like, come on. He's not making this decision until the 29th.
NBA players don't do what we do. What does that mean?
Like they're not as concerned about stuff. Like they have all that. Like they're gonna be fine. He's not gonna make the decision until the 29th. James Harden's not making his decision until the 29th. Kyrie Irving's not making his decision until the 29th. Nobody's making any decision until the 29th.
Well,
they don't have
to. It's funny that you brought up Kyrie Irving, because what are the talks about Kyrie Irving right now?
Yeah, if they're going to trade him or whatever's going to happen. So the pick is in. So Evan Silver's coming up to the podium now to announce the pick for the Washington Wizards. Let's take a look at what he's about to say. The selection is. Thank God we got to get away from this Bradley Beal conversation. Actually, so they have taken
Johnny Davis.
Donnie Davis guard out of Wisconsin. Yeah,
Wisconsin, Bucky. Yeah, you know what? The only knock that people, I wouldn't even say people, this is just in my own memory, is that, I mean, Wisconsin hasn't really produced the greatest NBA players. I think the best NBA player, in my opinion, to come out of Wisconsin is Michael Finley. I know we had Frank the Tank come out, a few years ago for shot, but I mean, he really didn't,
He was for sure not. He was for sure not a good NBA player.
Yeah, he's a role player. So. We got to give Johnny Davis a fair shake,
like
and what he shows on tape is good. He was put in the situation to be success. What committee he get drafted? Charlotte.
When they were in the hellfire that was Charlotte at the time. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there wasn't exactly a situation where you're going to go there and be like scorching the place up. Like
But Johnny Davis is a great pick here, man. This guy, I think, is going to be an all-star in this league. He's a big guard, combo guard, can handle the basketball, is a playmaker, big shot maker, very consistent, good mid-range, attacks the rim. I mean, I love this pick for Washington. I love this pick, man. I love this pick.
6'5", 194 pounds. As I mentioned, we were in the pre-evaluation. He averaged 7 points a game as a freshman, up that to 19.7 as a sophomore. Works hard on defense and takes pride on being a physical stopper. A good basketball player all around. Should give them some real versatility. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of his highlights before we move on to the New York Knicks on the clock next.
The Knicks are trying to package this trade with to try to get Jaden Ivy. Detroit is not making that they're not talking. They're no. They were trying to do
Budging.
Hey, as long as you brought up
they-
Detroit, something we didn't really touch on yesterday a whole lot is that Jeremy Grant trade. So they got a trade. So they got a trade exception for Jeremy Grant. So they have like $40 million in cap space. So if they want to like get DeAndre Ayton or like somebody like that, they have enough cap space to give somebody the full max now. Or they have the cap space to eat Russell Westbrook's entire salary without having to take anything back.
Do they? Because his cap is what, $47 million?
I think it's 44 million. But I mean, they could give you can because they're under the cap, so they can go back over. But that's something interesting. So like, yeah, they took like a $20 million trade exception instead of taking like anything legitimate. Like that trade, it still baffles me to this very second. I don't really understand like why you would take a trade unless they think they're going to get DeAndre Ayton but he's a restricted free agent, so I don't know.
Well, from the it's not that. From the looks of from the sound of things, Phoenix is willing to let him walk. Let's not act like it was not a, it didn't end well, right? Like it didn't end well in Phoenix. Like they would phase him out of the offense and then wonder why DeAndre Ayton is not producing well.
So swinging back into the Knicks, we'll talk about Phoenix here later.
Away from me.
The Knicks. So the pick is in. So let's talk about what do you think they're going to do with the actual pick if they do not trade it away.
Well, I mean
AJ Griffin would be a good complement to what they already have on the roster. Gives you a guy who can really stretch the floor and shoot the basketball. They need wing help, like guard help in the worst way, like point guard help. But there's nobody here to really take that would make any real sense.
Well, I think they are high on Emmanuel Quigley. They're not gonna they're not gonna move off of him.
And they still have Derrick Rose is still under contract for at least one more season.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you keep Derrick Rose, like he shores up your sixth man, right? He shores up your second unit. Your issue is obviously like you're upset that you went from fourth seed in the East last year to 11th in the East this year. Like you regressed severely. That's seven slots you dropped.
Yeah.
Like you don't. That's what you don't want. Like
I mean, they weren't even relevant last season. Like they went from being
they weren't even relevant. Like
hosting a playoff series, first playoff series, to basically being completely irrelevant. So Adam Silver's heading up to the podium now to announce the pick for the New York Knicks. Let's take a listen to see what he has to say here. Adam Silver, the selection is this could also be a Jalen Durant pick. He's they might say goodbye to it's Osami Dang, the kid the guy that plays for the New Zealand Breakers, but is originally from France. He is the pick here for the New York Knicks. Is Osami Dang.
Oh wow! So they went with youth and upside here. This is a James Dolan pick here.
This is a James Dolan special.
This is definitely James Dolan special right here, TJ.
This is a Kristaps Porzingis, Frank Ntilikina. This is up there with them. Like I cannot imagine that Knicks fans are particularly happy about this. Again, and it's unfair to the kid because they don't know him. Right? They don't know him. They don't know nothing about him. They're not watching NBL basketball like that on a regular basis. Right? They don't know. They know nothing about this kid. Right? I don't even know if he is on. I don't even know if he's on the. Is he? Yeah. He's old enough to be on the French national team, but I don't know if he actually made it.
Yeah, he plays on that under 18 squad or that that squad.
I ain't talking about that team. I'm not talking about that team.
He's 19 right now. He's 6'9", 185 pounds. He's got a little bit of interesting game. He can do a little bit of everything. He's super raw. Creative story of the perimeter, quality ball handling skills. He could be I've seen some interesting like the Neil Gallinari comparisons, which I think makes a little bit of sense here. The dude could really flat out shoot it.
But
he might be a little more skilled than Gallinari.
If you look up his stats in the NBL, he's a guy in the second half of the season that was averaging 13, 14 points amongst grown men. Okay, So this, Knicks fans got to look at it like that, where this guy's been playing professional overseas already against grown ass men already, and he was holding his own in the NBL. And NBL's a pretty decent bridge gap league to in terms of like young prospects going there and coming back. So this is a project. This is
so in these highlights he's number 11, the kid with the basketball right there. So this is his game. He's got the pull up 3-point shot. He can do some other things like handle the basketball a little bit. But yeah, this is his.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is his game.
Yeah, he's not on the French national team. He's too young to be on that damn French national team, and it's too many players to be too many good enough players that are going to play on the French national team. So he's under under 19 team, but he's a good player. He's gonna. I mean, if he upside, he could be like another Evan Fournier.
I can't say he's too young to be on the French national team when a dude like Anthony Davis was 19 playing on Team USA. So that's not.
Well, I mean,
like,
the way it goes.
He ain't
too
young.
Yeah, no.
Well,
you're right.
he may have only been 17 the last time we had the Olympics. Like that was like 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So
now
that's what I'm getting to, brother. That's what I'm getting to, bro. So this is what I'm saying is that he's definitely playing on that team.
So he got traded to OKC.
What?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The Knicks just traded that pick to OKC.
For what? The Oklahoma City.
Or maybe some of their picks.
Yeah, it says multiple first-round picks, but it doesn't. I'm not getting any details about what.
We'll come back in and check on that in a minute. Did they trade away this pick? Like, so let's get off the graphics and go back to the.
Ousmane Dieng is going to OKC.
All right. Does that mean the New York Knicks are back on the clock?
I don't know.
Izzy, I'm gonna mute you right quick, dude. I don't know what that noise is, but I'm not about it right now. Let me see if I can check that out.
No, the Knicks are not back on the pick. I mean, back on the clock. Like this pick is going to OKC too.
Okay.
Like this pick was not a part of any what you call it. This
multiple first round picks. What does multiple first round picks mean?
Well, they have like 30 picks, so pick your poison. It's a lot of like.
I know. I'm just looking this up on the website. I'm trying to figure out what the exact details are. But yeah, so this guy's going to be going to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City Thunder are still on the clock. And according to Woj, they're still in the clock. Let's talk about what Oklahoma City might do here. This pick is originally from the Clippers as part of the Paul George trade. The pick is in, so let's try to run through what do you think Oklahoma City needs to do here at 12 before the pick comes
Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara.
Let's see what I do with my mock draft real quick. Sorry. I had them go Malachi Branham out of Ohio State. I'm still going to stick with that pick, actually. I think, or AJ Griffin makes a lot of sense here too. With all the slashes they have on that team, they could use a guy that could stretch the floor and really shoot the basketball. So yeah, I'll go AJ Griffin actually to be the pick here at 12 for Oklahoma City.
I don't get the Knicks thinking. Like, if you're gonna trade your pick, at least try to get.
Well, Oklahoma City has one other. Oklahoma City, I think, has one other first round pick. No, they don't. I don't. From on a Knicks standpoint, I don't understand this decision at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Like, you could at least try to get the 12th pick. Like, that makes no sense to me. But I don't get that one.
I don't know. Like, yeah, the Thunder don't have another pick in this draft. And I'm not seeing anything where I'm able to, like, definitively say what those picks are. The Thunder has...
Let me go check Twitter real quick.
They still getting the details, too, from what it sounds like. So they don't know either.
Okay, well... let's talk. Yeah, so Oklahoma City. Yeah, what was just saying that they want Jalen? Come on, man. What the hell? Anyways, so yeah, what was just saying that they're looking at Jalen Williams. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But I do think AJ Griffin makes a lot of sense here. And I'm surprised AJ Griffin has actually fallen this far.
Yeah. Far, like, bro, it's what, 11, 12?
I kind of thought he'd be off. I kind of thought he'd be off the board by now, but that's just me. So here comes Adam Silver, and the pick is Jalen Williams, guard out of Santa Clara. Thoughts, CJ?
None. I mean, they got some decisions to make at their guard spot, right? Like if you're rebuilding or trying to make a push for this thing, you got a bevy of young talent there. Like you got to see what you got. I already said that SGA and Lou Dort could definitely be a part of some trades to some contending teams.
If they want to pay Lou Dort. But the other thing about SGA, so even if you trade SGA, what are you going to get back for him? More draft picks? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
What else can if I'm at a contending team, what more do you want?
I mean, I'm not really sure, but if I'm the Thunder, getting more assets doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when SGA is the asset and we have $1 billion assets. Like if I'm trading SGA, I'd want to get a legitimate like foundation piece for him, like a Zion Williamson or like something that's considered an upgrade over SGA. And I'm not sure how many of the players that are available that would be considered that. A young building block piece that you could build around for the future. I don't know if that piece exists on the trade market right now. But that's just me. I mean, I deserve the right to be wrong. I spend a lot of my life being wrong. But here's some highlights from Jalen Williams. This guy's really flew off the draft board as the process went through. 6'6", 195 pounds. Biggest winger of the combine. 7'2" wingspan at the combine. In the 5-on-5 game, showed up a scoring ability, also position versatility. Largest wingspan differential of any player at the combine. So 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. That's like Rondo when he had like a 7'6" wingspan at like 6'5" or whatever a few years ago.
Another small school product like Santa Clara. Yeah, it's D1. It's in the same It's in the same conference as Gonzaga, but this is one of those situations where like if you're good enough, they'll find you.
100%. I mean, those small schools. If you're good enough to play, I mean, Jamie Lillard's of the world, John Morant's of the world. Yeah, this is if you're good enough to play, they'll find you and you'll be able to play in the NBA.
I'm curious as to what Charlotte does. Like they've been linked to a bevy of Russell Westbrook trades, which again doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense if they add another guard to the mix anyway, which again that doesn't make sense to me. Excuse me. So if I'm Charlotte,
Charlotte's got 3 minutes left on their clock. In my mock draft, because they have needs at bigs, and if they do decide Miles Bridges might price them out of their own market, they're going to need another wing. I mean, AJ Griffin's here. I mean, he's probably a better shooter than Miles Bridges is right now. But Mark Williams is also here, and they need a big guy that can, really rebound and really, Montrezl Harrell. They tried the Montrezl Harrell experiment, as you talked about Mason Plumlee, who's a fine player, but he's not a long-term fix at the center spot. They have Kai Jones is kind of buried in the G League. Doesn't seem he's going to get any playing time anytime soon. So Mark Williams is probably the guy I would go with if I was the Charlotte Hornets here. Any thoughts?
None. I mean, like it's what you say. Like you got young bigs on their team that you got to play. Specifically talking about Kai Jones, like it's like rim protector at center, but you have Kai Jones on your G League team, and you're not even going to give him some run with the pro team to see if he can be what you're looking for. That doesn't make sense to me.
They did the same thing with they did the same thing with James Bouknight. I don't really understand having him over there either.
And that one makes a little bit more sense because who is he going to play over? He's not going to play over LaMelo, right? You're not Mike, according to Chris Broussard, Michael Jordan is super high on Terry Rozier just because of his motor. He loves Terry Rozier's motor. So it's like it's not doing what Sacramento did. It's not creating a log jam at the guard position that you're gonna have to try to finagle your way out of. It's not creating unnecessary.
Sure. Also, Gordon Hayward's probably not a long-term answer at any point in this roster. I would imagine they're probably going to be looking to trade him away at some point, or just let him walk in free agency whenever his contract is.
Or just flat out let him walk. Like
Adrian Wojnarowski thinks that Jalen Durant is going to be the next pick here. He's been right on the last 3 picks, so I imagine that this trend will continue when it comes to Woj and being correct. So Jalen Durant is who he's predicting at number 13. The dude is the GOAT when it comes to the NBA knowledge, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was right on this pick too.
Yeah, that's Wojo.
Yeah,
ain't not Wojo.
It's a Woj bomb, dude. He's gonna drop a Woj bomb. I'm actually surprised there hasn't been more player movement during this draft so far. Like I kind of thought we'd see a lot of movement outside of the top 4. Once we got past like 4 or 5, or even once we got past the first 3 picks, I thought for sure we'd see a lot of player movement and like draft trades. That we just haven't seen it to this point.
Well, I think it's knock is not the word that is appropriate for the situation, but this draft class doesn't have quote unquote that bevy of guys, right? Like this is not one of those. I don't think this is a situation where if you move up, like if you want to move up, you can.
Here comes Adam Silver on the board making the Charlotte Hornets pick. Let's see who they ended up taking here.
Depth at power forward. Like you have bigs that's just not going.
So they took Jalen Duran, power forward out of Memphis.
Okay, I have no issue with that.
No, he's a center really. He's got a crazy wingspan. Should be able to give them.
This is going to Detroit. He's going to Detroit.
Do you have the details of that trade, or
no? It's just like Wojnarowski tweeted it, and then like a minute later, the Pistons are acquired Jalen Durant at number 13.
What if Woj just tweets stuff and just like teams are like, oh, I guess we have to trade that guy.
So like we got 2 different tweets. Like we got Shams Charania is saying the Hornets Hornets traded Duran to the Knicks. And we got Roach saying the Pistons the Hornets traded him to the Pistons. So I don't know what's happening right now until I don't know what's happening. So like we got 2 NBA insiders tweeting 2 different things.
So was the other one Sham?
Sham Charania, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's the other GOAT guy, the other best analyst on TV. So whoever ends up with this guy, Jalen Durant, if he ends up in New York. That makes a lot of sense. He's a good comp. Especially if they let Mitchell Robinson walk, which all signs point that they may do that anyways. He's been hurt a lot anyways. And then if he ends up in Detroit, you could have him play the 5, and you have Marvin Bagley. You have Isaiah Stewart, who's not really a 5. Both of those scenarios make a lot of sense on paper. It'll be interesting to see what those 2 teams have to give up in order to get this done. If you're the Knicks, you could have easily just taken this guy.
True.
Like you could have just drafted him, but whatever the Knicks must have gotten back from Oklahoma City in order to not take him must have been pretty substantial.
Again, and we don't know we still don't know the parameters of that trade.
It's one of those Knicks.
But back to your comment about the lack of mobility, I think this is one of those drafts where it's like you don't have to move up if you don't want to, right? Like the board has kind of fallen into play. There is no, I gotta have that guy in this draft. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like there's nobody. Like there's no Zion. There's no John Morant. Like none of those guys are in this draft class.
Like there's I got to get this guy.
RJ Barrett.
Like there's a reason the draft kind of happened the way that it did. Like we literally had a team, like we literally had a number one overall pick where.
So this is Jalen Duran's high school highlights. He's number 13. That guy right there, or 2.
He's number 2.
Yeah. So these are his high school highlights. I could not find highlights.
So
from him. He went. You go to. I based on the highlights of the package that I'm using does not have it. It doesn't include it. So if I have only
Memphis, bro. Like how do you not have a highlight?
This is the highlight package I have available. Okay, so I'm just saying this is what I got. Oh, the pick is in for Cleveland. So let's swing over to Cleveland actually. So we'll figure out the details on the Charlotte Hornets stuff and the Knicks stuff as we go through the draft. Let's talk a little bit about the Knicks. What we expect the Cavaliers to do here at 14, the last pick in the lottery.
I think this is an intriguing pick, no matter which way they go, because it's what direction do you legitimately? What direction do you go?
AJ Griffin's still on here. Ochai Agbaji's still here. Ty Washington Jr. is still here.
You literally could have went on YouTube and typed in Jalen Durant Memphis highlights, and he has an entire Memphis highlight package.
I'm using a playlist, and all of them are built into the same one, and this is what they have. Okay.
My God.
If you wanted to send me some highlight packages for this show, you could have, but this is what I'm rolling with. Okay.
Jesus Christ! But yeah, the pick is in. The pick is in. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do with Kevin Love. I don't know if they're just gonna let that contract ride out.
Well, I mean, he's been fairly productive coming off their bench. I mean, he was second.
He's turned into a fairly productive member off the bench. Let's not act like there was some years where it was like, what are they doing with Kevin Love?
Yeah, it's true.
Like it was bad. Like it was pretty bad there for a minute. Like, I'm more interested in what they do with Colin Sexton. Like, what's going to happen with... Oh, damn, I just dropped some of my bad. What's going to happen with him? Because what's his role on the team now? He's too good to be, like... I don't think Collins... I mean, yeah, he's coming off an injury, but I don't know when he's going to be back from that injury. So maybe that six-man, that role off the bench is perfect for him with that second unit. But
so Ochai Agbaji is the pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, so that's who the guy they take. A little bit of stats about him. This guy's got hold on one second.
National champion,
6'5", 215 pounds. Really solid 3-and-D player. Just one of those rotation pieces you kind of need if you're going to be a successful team. Any other thoughts? Well, hold on a second.
It's again, like, what's his role? Like, what's gonna be his role? Like, you have a bunch of players on the Cavs, legitimately that looks just like him. So how do you differentiate between him and like a Karis LeVert, I got to pull up their roster. Because there was a bunch of guys J.B. Bickerstaff had to use because the rest of the roster got injured.
While you do that, so Pistons are sending the Hornets the 2025 first-round pick that they received via Milwaukee that they got back in the Jeremy Grant trade yesterday. That is what they're getting for this pick from the Hornets.
Okay, with Ochai Agbaji. How do you differentiate him from like a Jetty Osman who's been there, and Isaac Okoro who you just drafted not too long ago?
Well, I think when it comes to Okoro, he definitely gives you a different full set than Okoro. Okoro is more of a defensive-minded player. He can score, but that's not really why I am on the floor. He's a defensive-minded player.
Okay, so again, where do you play him? You
can bring him a scoring punch off your bench. Because Colin Sexton's going to be gone, more than likely, unless for some reason they decide we're gonna match whatever he gets. Which I would be shocked if that happened.
I can see that. Like, I don't. So again,
Osman is not going to be. Is not the long term future. I mean, I'm not sure what his contract situation is. I can look it up real quick, but I imagine he's probably he's either in his final year or pretty close to his final year.
Well, honestly, like they feel some type of way about him because he's still there. Right? They could have got rid of Osman prior to the season, right? Like I don't care. Like it's been proven that teams don't care about your contract situation. Like they don't. So the fact that people, like, I'm not saying you, but the fact that we tend to all guys in the contract.
Osman's got 1 year left. He's got under contract for next season. Then he's got a partially guaranteed contract the year after that. So he become an interesting trade chip that they could use to explore and build a roster.
And so again, teams have proven that they don't care what your contract situation is. They don't.
I got to be also like we mentioned that Hornets trade. I don't understand that at all. Like you get a Milwaukee pick in 2025. If like as long as Giannis doesn't get hurt, you're like basically trading a lottery pick for like a top 20 pick in like 3 years from now. It literally makes no sense whatsoever. That is a real interesting.
All right. So we got some more details. Knicks acquired Jalen Durant from the Hornets with a package that sends Kemba Walker to the Pistons. These are why teams stay bad. These are why teams. What is like why? Why?
Oh wait, no, I'm hearing who's that from? Because I'm hearing the exact opposite about that trade. So
this is from
Woj is reporting that the Pistons are sending the Hornets a 2025 first round pick that they got in the Jeremy Grant trade for Duran. So both of those analysts are releasing conflicting reports.
Okay, I don't know who. Okay, so the Pistons are sending. Yeah, we don't know. We're getting two different reports here. So you got the Woj tweet.
Yeah.
And I got the Shams tweet. Like Shams, I don't know who to believe anymore. This is a miscommunication on all parts. Like this is bad.
I have no idea who's accurate.
Right. Poor Jalen Durant. He don't know what hat to wear right now. He don't know where he's going.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. So the Hornets have another pick. Since they traded away their other one, what do you think they're going to do with this one?
Hopefully keep it.
I mean, sure, right. But player-wise, like in my mock draft, Mark Williams is still on the board. AJ Griffin's still here. Malachi Branham is still here. If you're going to let Miles Bridges walk, even though Miles Bridges is a little bit bigger player. I'm going to get they're going to go AJ Griffin here. I think that gives them some shooting, some versatility. He can play the 4 or the 3. AJ Griffin is going to be the pick that they make here.
I mean, I would have went AJ Griffin with the first one, so I'm not trading that pick away. I need that. I need that guy. Right? I need him. It's some head scratching.
Man, Adrian Wojnarowski seems really sure about this Pistons.
It's Mark Williams. So Mark Williams Duran just to draft Mark Williams. Like what?
And not to you trade a lottery pick for a pick that's going to be in the. That is some interesting decision making being made there by Mr. Michael Jordan and whoever happens to be in the front office of that team right now. I mean, they still have a coach after what's his name decided to be like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna coach that team. It's fine. This is the kind of
they don't. Well, I understand. I understand that, which is Kenny Atkinson's point on that. Like by what's his name leaving, Mike Brown. By him leaving, I now become the top assistant in Golden State. Steve Kerr has had some health issues the last 3-4 years.
Sure, but
just hear me out. Steve Kerr could very well retire from coaching, and Kenny Atkinson's right there. Right. Okay. So do I want to take over a young team where my future is in is up in the air year after year, or do I want to possibly inherit a roster that has Steph Curry in his prime, what's left of Clay and Draymond, and just ride that horse until the legs fall off?
Yeah, I mean, the rationale makes a lot of sense. I just find it interesting. So Mark Williams, we continue talking about him. Elite rim protector, prototypical rim running big. He reminds me a little bit of Robert Williams, the guy who was on Boston as that anchor on that team. The dude has immense upside at the 5 position. Should give them something they'd already have.
Another Blue Devil. Yeah.
This is a good solid pick for this team if they keep it, which has been one of the question marks of this draft, I guess, because nothing they've done so far makes a whole lot of sense.
I mean, again, we saw a lot of these kids at Duke because Duke is a national treasure. They every chance they get to throw Duke on national TV, they take it and they run with it. He fits what Charlotte needs. Like he runs the floor. He is a lob target for LaMelo. Like he is gonna be. It's a hand in glove fit, right? He provides what they need. Hopefully they don't do to him what they did to Kai Jones. Like you got to play this kid. You got to play this guy.
And I think they will. I mean, he's an immediate upgrade over. His name is totally escaping me now. I have to look it up.
Montrezl Harrell?
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's an immediate upgrade over Montrezl Harrell. He gives you something. Yeah, you've been needing somebody like this. You're looking at his highlights. I mean, this guy can really put the ball in the basket. He's young, athletic. He's got the prototypical size, rim roaming big, and he can defend a little bit without fouling. That's big. Because Duke really took a hit when this guy got hurt during the tournament.
Like that's huge. Like that. I mean, like that's definitely going to get challenged at the next level because there is no Joel Embiid in college.
No,
right?
not
like
usually.
That's your contemporary now.
But,
right?
but the Atlanta Hawks are on the clock. They have made their pick. Adrian Wojnarowski says it's going to be AJ Griffin, the power forward out of Duke. Another Duke level. But what do you think Atlanta's going to do here? They're on the clock. As I try to figure out the details of some of these other trades.
I'm curious because I thought this trade was going to be. I thought this pick was going to be traded. I'm surprised John Collins is still on the roster.
Me
really
too.
Am.
I thought that DeJounte Murray, John Collins stuff, as insane as that sounded, was going to be a thing that happened.
Which also, like, I don't the pairing, like the potential pairing of him and Trae Young, like I don't.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
So if I'm Atlanta, AJ Griffin does make a lot of sense. Like again, this is a team that regressed in the worst way. You went from the Eastern Conference Finals to getting swept in the first round. No, how'd that go?
No, they got one.
Right?
They got one game.
Oh, gentleman sweep and.
Adam Silver's at the podium right now. Let's see what they end up doing. Atlanta, the pick is AJ Griffin.
It's AJ Griffin. Okay, never mind.
Yep, AJ Griffin is the pick for the Atlanta Hawks.
Again, a team. Well, I understand that one because, like you said, they got to make a decision on Danilo Gallinari. We don't know what's going to happen to him. They got to make a decision on Bogdanovich.
Yep.
Yeah, they got to make a decision on him.
DeAndre Hunter's the other guy they're gonna have to make some sort of decision on at some point.
Yeah, you got all these young dudes. Well, not so young dudes in the case of Gallinari and Bogdanovich. Like you got to play these dudes.
I mean, Bogdanovich isn't that old. He might not even be 30 years old yet. But when AJ Griffin, we're talking about AJ Griffin here. The dude is shot like 43% from the 3-point line. Yeah, sure, that's the NBA 3-point line. But
45.
45%. Thank you very much. He's 6'6", 220. They list him on this website as a guard, but he's for sure going to play power forward, small forward in the NBA. He's got a little bit bigger body. The dude can really really shoot the basketball.
we're confused. Donovan Mitchell is also confused about the Shams and
Yeah.
Woj. Like he's like, what is going on here? But yeah, AJ Griffin being the son of a NBA player is a great benefit because you're around the game for as long as they're around the game. And his dad played 9 years in the NBA, then immediately went into coaching.
Yep.
So he's been around the game of basketball for probably since he's been born, and that's insane. And it's what 3 Duke players now.
Yeah.
In the first round, so
in the first 16 picks.
So to David Henderson's question, you wonder if Duke's going to fall off.
No. The answer to that question is no. They're going to be fine. And this is just a little bit of his athleticism. Like, yeah, the guy is a freak athlete. He does have a little bit of a comp to like Jabari Smith. Like Jabari Smith's game kind of reminds me a little bit of this guy's game. And Jabari Smith went at 3, and this guy got taken at 16. So, you know, there's the 3-point shot we're looking at right now.
Houston's back on the clock. What do you think Houston does? Wait, this is not that's at what, 26? Yeah, that's that pick.
So this is result of the James Harden trade. So this pick was originally from Brooklyn. It's part of the James Harden trade, actually. It's the Houston Rockets on the clock. So in my mock draft, I had them taking Terry Eason, the power forward out of LSU, and I think he gives them a good compliment to Sagoon, who's going to be a good player, and I think gives them some versatility at the 5. And you know, they're going to give him more playing time. So, and Woj is actually reporting that he thinks that's going to be the pick also. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the way that they go. I think Tari Eason will be the guy they end up taking here at 17, and a pick just before the Bulls.
Well, I don't mind that. Obviously you gotta feel the need of you gotta feel the void of Christian Wood, right? That's 23 points and 8 to 10 rebounds that you don't have anymore. Now I will say this, and it wasn't talked about enough.
Real quick. So this is the possible scenario that is playing out with that Pistons, Thunder, Hornets, Knicks stuff. Okay. So Knicks get 2 future firsts. The Thunder get that 11th pick. The Pistons get 13 and Kemba Walker. The Hornets get that 2025 first. Why you'd want that 2025 first round pick? This is from Tucker at Sporting Logically.
Go back. Say all of that again.
All right. So the Knicks get 2 future first round picks. The Thunder get the 11th pick. The Pistons get 13th pick and Kemba Walker. And then the Hornets get 2025 first. This is from Tucker at Sporting Logically. He's one of the best YouTubers period. He's one of the better YouTubers in basketball, NBA YouTubers. Shout out to Tucker if you're hanging out or whatever. He's got his own live stream going on right now.
So Kemba Walker's going to Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's only that's an expiring deal on the last year of the contract. I mean, I'm not sure it really matters. This is something that somebody is speculating. This is not for sure like a done deal. But it is interesting.
Okay.
So that kind of makes up for a little bit of this confusion when it comes to what's going on with that particular situation, right? Like why everybody seems to think that all these players are being treated.
It's still confusing, bro. Like
yeah. So the pick is in for the Houston Rockets. Let's see who they end up taking here. As ESPN is talking to is that Jabari Smith? I think they're having a conversation with. As he's about to get
Jabari Smith right now.
Yeah, as he's about to get a brand new teammate.
Arch Manning going to Texas. Shout out. Didn't see that one coming.
No, I did not either. I kind of thought he'd go to like Ole Miss or Tennessee.
I thought he'd go to Georgia.
Well, yeah, I don't know. The crazy thing that the Rockets, I think, the Rockets still have the 26th pick in this year's draft. Like they have another first round pick that they can use here.
All right, we're just sorry for the what you call it, the delay in conversation.
The delay. We're just kind of waiting
for
this Rocket pick.
All right.
Let's just talk about the Bulls a little bit. So the Bulls,
okay,
are they're going to be on the clock after this pick. What do you think they need to do? And let's talk a little bit about the Zach LaVine situation, because you've been pretty adamant that they should just pay him. And I'm in the camp that I think if you're not going to pay him, I think you should try to sign and trade him, because letting him walk makes literally no sense whatsoever, because there's no scenario where you can replace that money.
So
they'd have to go ahead.
The issue I have with the sign and trade is like the names that we brought up is okay. Like I think Donovan Mitchell was mentioned. Sign and trade for Donovan Mitchell. We're getting the same player.
Yep. Here comes Adam Silver to the board right now, the podium. And they have taken Tari Eason, the forward out of LSU. A little bit of stats about Eason real quick. He is, hold on one second. So he's 6'8", 216 LSU. He is a sophomore. It gives a little bit of that defensive edge, prototypical defensive edge. He could shoot 80% from the 3-4 line last season at LSU. 6 games where he had at least 10 free throw attempts, a skill that has proven to indicate a good shooting at the next level. This is from sportingnews.com. Let me go ahead and update my next graphic. And then you can kind of go into a power forward situation.
So now the Bulls are on the clock. Again, with like you said, is
well. Let's talk a little bit about Easton before we just move on to
16. What 17? 16. I hate when they do that. 16.9. Just say 17 a game.
Usually when I see numbers like that, I always round them. I don't feel like reading them like that. It's just not good TV. There's Tari Eason for LSU. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of his highlights from his college season.
Oh, good D.
So yeah, I have like literally college highlights from like every player so far, except for who was it that I didn't have a single highlight for? I had to watch like his high school tape or when he was in high school. Jalen Durant. Yeah. Hey, I'm only one man, okay?
And they're comparing Tyree Easton to Herb Jones, which
I don't really understand that comparison.
I don't either.
Herb Jones hasn't even really been like finished establishing himself as like what he's going to be as a pro. Like we're going to compare him to like here we go. like
the only thing we know about Herb Jones is that he is insanely athletic. Like there's. So yeah, he's insane. I don't know, but like again, the Bulls are on the clock. We're on to the Bulls now.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, look, the surprise of everyone was the re-emergence of DeMar DeRozan being the caliber of player that he is. If you're the Bulls, the main thing you're concerned about now, that's not keeping Zach LaVine in a Bulls uniform is the health and wealth of Lonzo Ball, because we saw this team with him, with his playmaking and his defense, and without his playmaking and his defense, right? And his shooting. Like let's not act like Lonzo Ball is like not like a 30, 37, 38% 3-point shooter.
100%, and he's an elite defender.
So if they go guard here, it doesn't.
I don't think that makes any sense. They need to take a big here. I need to take somebody that can protect the rim.
It makes sense because it makes sense because if you're out on Kobe White like you say you are,
yeah, okay,
then be out on Kobe White like you say you are, right? Do that. Move off of him. If you're,
Malachi Branham is here. You can take him. I mean, there are guys that they could for sure take that would make sense.
But if you go big here, who's the big?
I mean, if the only big you could get here that wouldn't be I mean, Walker Kessler is the only one that's really available at this point, but that would be a wild reach. He's more of a back end.
EJ Liddell?
EJ Liddell it makes sense. His jump from his freshman season to his sophomore season was pretty substantial. Basically increased his numbers all across the board. EJ Liddell, if he came out last year, probably would have been a fringe second round pick. He's now going to be back into the first round at some point. He makes sense here at 18. So, let's see if we can figure a little bit of clarity on this Woj situation. So Woj just actually said, Kemba Walker is expected to be bought out from Detroit whenever he does get there, which makes, some sense because they don't need him. And the fact that he was even involved in this trade makes a whole lot not of sense at all. Like there's got to be more to this than that's absolutely not being reported on.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like again, this is why certain teams. This is why bad teams stay bad, right?
Unless Detroit is going to use some of that trade exception that they got for Jeremy Grant to eat some of this salary, which makes zero sense whatsoever. Unless they all of a sudden they don't think they're going to get whoever they thought they were going to get yesterday. I don't. Please make it make sense, TJ. Please.
I can't because it don't make sense.
I don't understand what's going on here. Like, why would you trade away Jeremy Grant for a trade exception and then try to eat that trade exception with the Kemba Walker contract? That would be a real head scratching move. That's the way this thing shakes out. And then you trade away. You basically trade away Jeremy Grant for basically the 13th pick in this draft, which I mean I guess isn't the worst value ever. But
so the pick is in for the Bulls. We are just waiting.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the Bulls for Adam Silver to come. They're in a commercial right now. So the pick is Dalen Terry. Yeah, Dalen Terry, point guard out of Arizona. Terry. Point guard hybrid, shooting guard hybrid. Can play a little bit of both. Thoughts?
Again, it's an insurance policy to Lonzo Ball, like they just said. Kobe White has not flourished how they thought how they thought he would by this stage in his career. We literally said this yesterday. If Kobe White's NBA future is not over, if it's not coming to an end in Chicago, it's
getting close.
If it's not over in Chicago, it's close. It's pretty goddamn close. And I felt like Kobe White easily could have established himself as a perennial six-man product in this NBA, in today's NBA because of his shooting ability. He just hasn't been able to be a consistent shooter. So
Terry, 6'7" guard. He's one of those. His NBA comparison from this website, Michael Carter Williams, which I haven't watched enough of him to really compare him to Michael Carter Williams, but he has the size. Any guard that seems to have this type of size is always compared to like Michael Carter Williams. It's just so lazy.
Well, again, just like his teammate, just like Mathurin, West Coast bias. No one was staying up late to watch Arizona, watch Pac-12 basketball like that. It just wasn't happening. I'm pretty sure the kid. I am pretty sure this kid has all the talent in the world, right? But we can't pass judgment on the player we don't know. We can't hate the pick if we don't know nothing about him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't hate the pick. I don't know. I mean, he's a big point. He's a big guard.
I'm not saying you.
Oh yeah, I mean, he gives you some versatility. He can play at the 1 or the 2. He can handle the basketball. He can create his own shot. We'll take a look at some of his highlights here. He's number 4 on Arizona.
This just tells me that the Bulls are going big in free agency.
Well, I think the Jalen Durant thing means that Mitchell Robinson's for sure going to be available, and Orlando maybe they're not going to let Mo Bamba walk. Maybe they're planning on keeping him. But yeah, I mean, you watch the guy seems to defend. He hustles, plays hard. You look for those kind of guys this late in the draft.
He has a 7'3"
wingspan.
What is it? 7'3"? Yeah, 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make human beings like that very often. Right?
6'7" with a 7, and everybody who's anybody in the sports media, like they like to pick 6'7". A bunch of them had him top 15. He fell. He can facilitate. 3-point shot is like, I mean, obviously the 3-point shot can get better, right? That's just repetition. Like, bro, I need you to shoot 1,000 threes a day. 1,000 threes a day. That's what we need. 1,000 threes a day out of you.
Yeah.
Right. Pick is in for Minnesota.
Yeah. So let's talk about Minnesota a little bit here. Minnesota, their major needs.
They traded this pick. This pick got traded. This pick got traded to Memphis.
Okay.
And Memphis is taking Jake LaRavia.
Man, I mentioned him. So Minnesota's going to get 22 and 29 in this year's draft, and Memphis is getting number 19, and they taking Jake LaRavia. That's who I mocked to them to get all the way at 29 when we did our mock draft yesterday. This is. I'm a little shocked that they're doing Jake LaRavia probably would have been there at 22. Unless they have some sort of insight. I mean, they obviously they know more about what other teams are thinking than we do. But I would have imagined that Jake LaRavia would have still been there at 22.
Again, so going back, I'm reading some of the comments on the Bulls Facebook page. And we need a big man. You idiot. There's this thing called free agency. Just because you don't draft a certain position doesn't mean you're not going to target that position in free agency. Good God.
Oh, TJ, not everyone is as smart as us, dude.
Like, it's just, like, why? 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 Like, you're hating on a kid who you don't know nothing about. And I like Jake LaRavia going to Minnesota. Like, that's going to Memphis. He's going to Memphis. I like Jake LaRavia going to Memphis.
I also like him going there. It's a little head scratching why you'd give up. And this is actually, I think, the second time. Like, I don't understand why you'd give up 2 first-round picks to get that done. I think this guy would have been there at 22. But as you always say, if you want a guy, go get him, because the chances of him still being there may not be.
This is the first one we've seen where a team has traded up to get the guy, right? Like, we didn't know. Like, this is the first trade up, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So who goes to San Antonio at 20? Who's next? Who's still on the?
So this pick is from the Raptors as part of the Kawhi Leonard trade. So I had them taking Blake Wesley, the kid, the guard, combo guard out of Notre Dame. Gives them some interesting versatility. Something that they kind of need. Because as I talked about this earlier, like those guards they've drafted, like Lonnie Walkers of the world, none of the design of the cell, none of those guys have really worked out.
They haven't. I think because of how the board has fallen, you got to go EJ Liddell here. He's right there. You got to take him. Like, you got to take him. To me. I can also see like a.
I mean, EJ Liddell's an interesting choice because he does give you something you don't already have. I mean, a guy who can play he increases 3-point percentage. He can play the power forward. I mean, they still have Jakob Poeltl, who they still like at the 5. It doesn't complicate that. You could still run those guys playing them together. They do need some sort of big, but they took the kid out of Baylor with the first of their. So I would be not shocked if they did that, but it wouldn't be. I wouldn't. It would be pretty surprising if they did something like that. But as I mentioned all the time, I am wrong all the time. So, take what I say with a grain of salt here.
Like I'm sorry. I'm just still stuck on like the Bulls thing. It's like you're so like why? Like, can the kid play first? Can he play first?
I mean, the same thing happened with This happens every year. I mean, it's some player gets drafted, the fan base doesn't really like him, and he ends up being a big star. Like, look what happened with Porzingis. They all booed him and hated him. He's probably one of the better draft picks they've made in the last 10 years. So
I mean, like it's the West Coast bias is clearly shown with him, because they're like, who is this dude? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Like, as if they would have, like, come on, man.
Do even the slightest amount of research, and you find out who these players are. Like, it's really not that difficult. Real quick, so Jake LaRavia is a 21-year-old junior. He's 6'8", 235 pounds. His comp is Lauri Markkanen, which I know. So you said the Spurs made their pick?
And the Spurs, the Spurs made the pick. It's Malachi Branham. So
okay.
They went guard again. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
You went guard again. I don't hate it. You got you.
As I mentioned when we did our mock draft yesterday, you have to keep taking swings at this. Like, guard is like, wings are so valuable in the league right now. Like, if you don't get a good one, it really does not matter. And Malachi Branham has some upside. The dude can really play. He's a 3-level scorer. He can create his own offense. What's up, Izzy? Welcome back, man.
What's going on, man? Yeah, no, I'm in the house.
I'm glad you're somewhere stable, man, because you were getting some crazy interference like while you were driving, and I was like, and then when you clipped off, I was like, oh, I hope that wasn't like like something bad happened.
No, I was running on Flintstone Wi-Fi. Yabba dabba do. No, but we're back. Hey, no, let me just chime in on that Bulls pick. I would have loved to get O'Shea Abaji, but I'll take Dalen Terry all day for the Chicago Bulls, man. They needed a guy like that to come off the bench with Io to provide some scoring, a backup for Zach LaVine, because we didn't have that last year. We didn't have a guy that could come off the bench last year. For Zach.
He could play either guard position. Like, he does give them some extreme versatility.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
And so now with the San Antonio Spurs, who I think, who do you? It's Malachi Branham?
Yeah.
Okay, You guys are ahead of me then. Okay.
It hasn't been announced yet, but I think TJ pulled this off Twitter.
Okay. Well, if it is Malachi Branham, they're getting a good one here, and he's and TJ's right. He's better than freaking Devin. He can do better than what the hell Devin Vassell and Lonnie Walker have given them.
They haven't had a lot of depth from that wing position.
But I will say this. I will say, like, EJ Liddell, he's a Greg Popovich. He's a Popovich kind of guy, but they already got a guy like EJ Liddell and Keldon Johnson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Keldon Johnson might be a little more better shooter. Than
Liddell.
Liddell is, at least not right now, obviously.
But
Malachi Branham is the pick that was formally announced. Now we've had that pick announced actually for like 3 minutes. So look at us beating ESPN. I don't know where TJ pulled that from, but he's the wizard at that stuff.
I think Woj.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Woj didn't tweet. Okay.
Not that one. At least he's been on top of everything else, but. I've been on his website, man.
Woj has been dropping gems before these picks, like all draft, like he's supposed to.
But I think if you're the Spurs, you get a good player, should give you some, you can play him a bunch of different places, and you need to keep getting shots at this until you eventually get it with the wing position, because it's so valuable in today's NBA. You need to have wings that can give you something that you don't already have on the roster, and look. Like that dunk right there, like this kid can really play. Looking at some of his highlights, TJ was giving me a hard time about the Jalen Durant highlights earlier, because the only highlights I could find were his high school highlights, at least from this package that I'm currently. At least from this package I'm currently running. I have a package of highlights that has like 300 videos in it, and they had literally not a single one from his pro career or his high school career.
And Malachi Branham is another Big Ten product, an Ohio kid, St. Vincent St. Mary kid. Big Ten Freshman of the Year. So kid can play.
Yeah,
the kid.
6'5", 180. His comp on Sporting News is Chris Middleton. I'm not really sure I see that, but he could grow into what Chris Middleton is now. One of the best pure scorers in the class. Can shoot it from all three levels. He can drive, he can kick, he can shoot. 6'10" wingspan.
Hopefully he can turn into the defender Chris Middleton is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, he's a 3-level scorer, and you need those guys in the NBA.
Rock you do.
So moving on from there, we go to the Denver Nuggets, who are currently on the clock now. Their pick is in. They haven't not announced it yet, but the pick is apparently in. What are you doing here for Denver? Denver's had a track record of getting some gems in the draft, basically every season. So what do you think Denver's going to do here with basically who's still available?
Ty Washington here. Yeah.
Woj is saying that it's going to be Christian Braun. In my honest opinion, I think that would be wildly early for him. But
I mean, shooters are premier in this league. I mean, you got to shoot, man. I mean, he's one of the best shooters in the draft.
Yeah,
and he can play defense. 3-and-D guy. I mean, he's not the most athletic. He can't really create.
But
his own shot,
is his upside higher than, as we mentioned, like a Ty Washington or even a Blake Wesley or an EJ Liddell or even Jaden Hardy?
Yeah, and I actually had at 21. I actually had Denver taking Ty Washington right here, and he's actually fallen here. So.
I had Ty Washington going to the Timberwolves at 19, but the Timberwolves have traded back with the Memphis Grizzlies earlier in this draft.
You still got Jaden Hardy here.
Yeah.
You still got Kennedy Chandler still here. EJ Liddell still here. I don't really think they need a guy like EJ Liddell. But they definitely need some guards.
Well, I mean, outside of Jokic, I mean, their bigs that's a pretty scarce room. They don't really have, and I mean, they just traded away Jermichael Green earlier this week.
I think they re-signed Boogie.
I mean,
that'd be a good move. I mean, if they don't have another pick coming up here either. Like
they do.
Number 30.
Yeah, they got 32.
Yeah, I think at 30 they go get one of those big men that I was talking about, like Jalen Williams if he's still available,
or Kai Soto.
Oh my God, you guys are Kai Soto, man. Lordy Lord. If they want to take a flyer on Kai Soto, that's fine.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, if they can, I mean, big thing is for Denver is to get some depth behind. I mean, they brought it up. Jamal Murray, the health of Jamal Murray and the health of Michael Porter Jr.
That's what the real future of Denver. When you talk about this Denver Nuggets team, nothing is really until you get a season where all of those guys are healthy at the same time. It's really hard to even judge what Denver is as a basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and I mean, and we could say, oh man, they caught fire in the bubble and. Everybody caught fire. A guy like, who's a kid from Indiana?
TJ Warren.
TJ Warren caught fire in the bubble. Yeah.
I mean, TJ Warren.
Seen him since.
TJ Warren does that though from time to time. Like he does. He has moments where he's amazing.
All right.
Multiple future first round picks. I wonder what the Knicks are getting for those multiple future first-round picks. They could have kept that 11 pick and got somebody that they could have used next year.
Man, I already talked about that trade a little bit. Like, if on the Pistons side of that. So when I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this earlier. So when they basically didn't have to take on any salary when they made that trade with Portland because Portland had a trade exception for CJ McCollum.
Oh, they want to get Christian Braun. You're right.
So Christian Braun ends up being a Denver Nugget. Let me go ahead and create that graphic. Anyways, so when they traded, the Portland Trailblazers had a trade exception for CJ McCollum, which is worth about $20 million, which fit perfectly into Jeremy Grant's salary, which means they didn't have to take on any future contracts, which gave them enough cap space to try to sign like a DeAndre Ayton. But But if they took on Kemba Walker without giving any contracts back, does that mean they used that trade exception already? I mean, it's one of those things. I don't really know.
Ooh. So I'm looking at these Christian Braun highlights on ESPN. I'm like, I remember this kid during the season. Baby. This big time. Yeah, he was getting up there dunking. I know. That's what I'm saying. TJ. You know, this kid right here, man. This kid right here, what he's gonna do for the Denver Nuggets. He's gonna play real hard. He's gonna get after it on defense. He's athletic.
Not to speed up the process, but this pick that Memphis is picking, it's going to Minnesota. They're taking Walker Kessler. So, which to me, I get it, but you also have, you got Cat. So Cat goes to the bench. Like you got Nas Reed. So you had a bunch, you already got a serviceable backup big man, unless Nas Reed is no longer on the team anymore.
Woj. You know, I love Woj, but it's like if somebody has lag on their TV, right? Say somebody has Hulu Live TV. And somebody else has regular ESPN, right?
Yeah, I'm watching this on DirecTV, dude. And I'm telling you, he's smoking the regular. This isn't even lag, dude. It's just him being really good at his job.
No, I'm trying to compare it. I'm trying to compare it to that. It's like we're all watching this unfold. He's literally beating the lag TV and the regular speed TV.
Yeah. He is
to the
on
punch.
it.
That's what I'm saying. He's killing it, man. He's killing it. Like during the finals, my friend, he was making some bets, and he told me the score before the score happened. Oh, this guy's gonna make this. I was like, dude, shut up. I'm trying to watch the game. It's right now I just want to tell Will, stop it. Give me the element of surprise right here, please.
Just get off his feed, man. It's not that hard. His feed is addicting though.
It is addicting. It is. I'm looking at it constantly every day too. Him and Chad.
I remember one year folks got mad at him because he was tweeting out the draft pick and the draft pick wasn't announced yet. And they it was Bradley Beal, Donovan. They whoa, shut up, bro. We want to be kept in suspense.
Yeah. He's.
I don't mind that.
Hey, I'm gonna tell those organizations. Hey, we gotta tell those organizations snitches get stitches.
Yeah, they gotta keep their mouths shut a little bit longer. So the element of surprise has been totally ruined. Walker Kessler is the pick. What was your course correct? And I have the graphic immediately. Look at that. How about that?
Nah, look at that. Best shot blocker in college basketball right here. Kid's amazing, man. This kid's gonna get after it. He's gonna be up there for many years. In terms of being a shot block leader in the NBA. I like him to be a JaVale McGee type, man. God, he has 5 career triple doubles. Multiple career triple doubles.
Minus the Shaq and the Fool MVPs and stuff.
Yeah, minus the Shaq and the Fool. Yeah, no, you're right about that.
Yeah,
4.6 blocks per game. What?
The dude is awesome. He's an elite defender, and he gives them kind of that defensive identity they don't necessarily have right now with anybody else on their roster. TJ, there is a kind of log jam there at the power forward center position, but he gives them something they don't have entirely, and you can always find time for that kind of guy.
Yep.
4.5 blocks a game.
Walker 7'1", 245. He's a sophomore. This website compared him to Brook Lopez. I'm not sure I see that. Unless
Philly's trading.
Unless he develops a 3-point shot.
No. Early. Keep in mind, early Brook Lopez was a tank beast.
Yeah,
this pick is on the move, guys.
Who couldn't get a rebound?
Brook Lopez before the foot injuries. Was a low. He was a low paint. He was a post-up monster, bro.
So Philadelphia has traded this pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for DeAnthony Melton.
Yep, and they're targeting Colorado State's David Roddy at number 23. Ooh.
Man, I said this when they made the trade earlier. They could have gotten both these guys without having to trade up and give up future assets. Like I don't understand. Like a lot of what they're doing right now. Like somebody
D'Anthony Melton's a hard-nosed defensive player, man.
It's a good get for Philadelphia.
For Philly. Oh, that's an excellent get for Philly. Oh wow. David Roddy, I didn't see much of David Roddy in college, man. I watched a lot of college basketball. I probably never even seen a David Roddy game, Colorado State game this year. I probably should have though. I don't even think he's a second round grade. Yeah,
that pick makes zero sense. To trade up to get this guy that you can get in the second round makes no sense to me at all. They didn't need to.
Second round grade.
Yeah, so Memphis is on the clock. They have traded with the Philadelphia 76ers. This is being reported by Woj.
And I'm already on Wikipedia, and they already put Memphis Grizzlies. This is insane, man. Okay, his 2 years at Colorado State, he's a sophomore, true sophomore. 11.4 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, 1 assist a game, and then his sophomore year, 15.9 points a game, 9.4 rebounds. So he's a good rebounder for a guard, or a small forward. And but he shoots terribly from the 3-point range. He's a 23% career 3-point shooter.
Izzy. The David, is it David Roddy? That's his name? David Roddy?
David Roddy, yeah.
Sorry. That's the pick where you go, as a basketball fan, that's the pick where you go like, who?
Who? Yeah.
Like this guy, like at 23, like who?
Man, I can't even find him on like ESPN's like the first 4 pages of their rankings page.
Yeah, I don't get this pick at all. I mean, does he know somebody in the organization that knows somebody in the organization? Got to.
I just want to give a quick shout out. He already got drafted, but to Keegan Murray. When Keegan Murray was in high school, he was ranked 334th in the nation. 334th.
Wow.
That's talking about working hard, boy. You worked hard.
He turned that in. He went from 334th to the 4th overall pick. Shut up. Work hard. If you're good enough, they will find you. Don't.
Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was kind of similar, right? And then he had to go to he went to Weber State in Utah, and he was similar kind of, right? He was like in the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. This is it's starting to look like this, guys. It's starting to look like 1 for 1, and 1 NBL guy, 1 G League Ignite guy, right? Because we thought 3 G League Ignite guys were going to get picked in the first round. I don't think any more. Well, I hope.
No, I still think Jaden Hardy goes right here next to Milwaukee. I still think that happens.
Jaden Hardy gets it?
Yeah. I mean, unless Woj has decided to ruin it already for us. So, surprisingly,
let's see if he has.
Surprisingly, I have a picture of David Roddy.
Yeah, golly, Rose, man.
I do not have a video of David Roddy. Like nothing.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Like I have 245 videos at my disposal right now. Not one of them are David Roddy. Like
I mean, what was that suit? What was that suit that
are you talking about the tinfoil suit?
Purple? The Paolo Banchero, what was he wearing?
I thought you were talking about the tinfoil suit. Whoever was wearing I thought that was actually pretty solid.
The
he
Tin
would,
Man.
wouldn't he? He absolutely would.
Oh my god!
I like that tinfoil suit. This David Roddy pick doesn't make any sense. Let's move on.
Danny Green is a part of that trade. Danny Green is going to Memphis.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's big time.
For DeAndre, I mean, how can Memphis just take on that salary without assets of some sort going? Okay, I don't. I know you said they're getting D'Anthony Melton, but that doesn't even get close to.
My thing is why? Okay, so you went and got Danny Green. I know See, and this is where I think EJ Liddell
Danny Green isn't playing this season. I got news for you. He tore his ACL in the playoffs. Like he's not going to play.
He's not playing. Like I don't get like what is wrong with these people, man? Like then why do you get rid of DeAnthony Melton and then trade up? Like what is
There's got to be more. There's got to be more to that trade that we're not hearing about. Like on top of it.
I see. I'm looking at this first round. I'm like, there's a whole bunch of reaches here, man. I mean, even the kids from Santa Clara going at 12. That's a reach, man.
I agree with you.
There's a whole bunch of guys that I think are going to be better than him. That kid reminds me of
DeAnthony Melton. DeAnthony Melton actually makes $8.2 million. I didn't realize his salary was that high. So
that kid reminds me a little bit of Tony Snell. A little bit of he reminds me a little bit of Tony Snell. He reminds me a little bit of the kid that we got. Who was the other kid that?
So that trade does work. This still is pretty head scratching. Let's talk about Milwaukee. Milwaukee Bucks are on the clock. They got eliminated from the playoffs by the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. What do you see them doing here with their pick here in the first round?
Well, Woj already said they're targeting Marjon Beauchamp.
All right.
Targeting Marjon Beauchamp. This is Marjon Beauchamp right here.
So
there goes your second G League guy.
And you got to ask that question of where does he fit? Because, again, this is a championship-level team, right? They probably go at least to the Eastern Conference Finals if Chris Middleton doesn't get hurt to the caliber that he does.
Right. I say they go to the finals if he don't get hurt.
You can make that argument. They need they just need a consistent play from the other pieces, right? You can't have Bobby Portis kill the Bulls, point to his ring finger, and then go completely ghost against the Boston Celtics. You can't have Grayson Allen looking like the second coming of Peja Stojakovic against the Bulls, and then go completely ghost against the Boston Celtics, right?
So Marchand Beauchamp, 6'6", 199 pounds, athletic wing. He played in the G League Ignite. When he went to Yamika Valley College, he averaged 30 points a game and shot at 40% for the 3-point line. I'm not sure where Yamika Valley College is, but Yamika Valley College.
Yakima Valley. It's in Washington.
So, he played 12 games there, averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, shot at 53% from the field, 40 from the 3-point line. So,
he went ape shit crazy.
Yeah.
He went ape shit crazy against a bunch of.
He did. He did 1 year of community college to do the to get to all right, I'm out of high school. I'm going to go to the G League. I'm going to do that now.
And he's a product of Brandon Roy, Nathan Hale, head coach of Nathan Hale High School in Seattle, Washington.
So the pick is in. We were just waiting for Adam Silver to announce it. Marchand Beauchamp, guard, G League Ignite. Yes, as I mentioned, he's a 6'6" forward, guard forward hybrid, 199 pounds. Obviously, he's gonna have to bulk up, which is the case for every player that gets drafted at this point in his life.
That is literally the case of every NBA rookie. That's the case of every NBA rookie not named Kofi Coburn, because that dude is gonna be 280 coming into the league.
He played on that Nathan Hale team. He played against both the Porter brothers. He played with both the Porter brothers. We forget Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. and
Jonte Porter, yeah. So then he transferred to Garfield High School. Then he transferred 4 different high schools, in 4 years.
So what year was he at Garfield? Because Brandon Roy coach at Garfield right now.
Sophomore. So he moved with Brandon Roy. So he went there with Brandon Roy, and he won a state champion. No, he didn't. Yeah,
so won. This is the only highlight package I have for him that's available.
He won a state championship.
He's number 14 on the G League Ignite team there. As you can see, they ran a lot of their offense basically through him. He struggled a little bit with his shot in the G League Ignite, but that's to be expected a little bit. But the kid is freaky athletic. He can create. He's a 3-level scorer. This is a good get for Milwaukee. This is a kid that can, come in and play for them.
He's 21 too, 21 years old. He went a real different route. Like, not like the little mellow ball route, but he went a real different route. 4 different high schools, 4 years.
What do you? So on the website that I've been pulling all these
community college
comparisons to, what do you think they compared him to? He is a current player.
All right, we still talking about
Marshawn Beauchamp.
Marshawn Beauchamp. Will Barton.
Derrick Rose.
No, not even. Neither of those are close. Jeremy Grant is the comparison that they made on this website. I haven't loved a lot of their comparisons, but that one's a little head scratching.
That's a horrible comparison. Jeremy Grant had a lot more weight on him, and Jeremy Grant was much bigger than him.
Yeah,
out of Notre Dame.
I don't know. That's the comparison they made, and I'm just just reporting what they have. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know. Moving on to the San Antonio Spurs on the clock. This is their third first-round pick. They already take. Let me take a look. What they took already? I know they took Sochan, and then they took. I'm gonna have to straight look this up. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Ooh.
While I look this up, yes, he took Malachi Brannon. So what do you think they're going to do with this pick at 25? Yeah, Malachi Brannon. What do you think they're going to do with this pick?
They got to go get a shot blocker or something. They got to go get them a center. I would like them to go get a guy like Jalen Williams from Arkansas. This would be a good pick for them. Who else is available? You got Nikola Jovic, who the Spurs are. Notorious for getting international guys.
I don't hate Patrick Baldwin Jr. going here, taking a flyer on him right here. Patrick Baldwin Jr. That dude. He was like a top 5 pick at one point. Now he's fallen out of the first round potentially. Take a flyer on him to see if maybe you can get something out of him. I think that's actually pretty.
What about another international guy, Khalifa Diop, out of the EuroLeague?
I would be lying if I said I knew a lot about his game at all.
He's fairly young. I believe he's only like 18, 19 years old. He's like the same age as some college freshmen. But
I do think the pick will be Nikola Jovic. The international connection seems to be strong. Woj is saying that they're going to take Blake Wesley, and he's been right on every pick for the last hour. So I imagine that trend will continue.
Yeah, he's not going to be wrong at all, because if Woj ain't going to post nothing that's not a legit source, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't. They're basically saying, okay. So the Spurs are basically saying, okay, we don't believe in Lonnie Walker. We don't believe in Devin Vassell. And we need and our guy DeJounte Murray needs help. Yeah. That's what they're basically saying here. Yeah.
And if Greg Popovich is only going to be here for one more season, we probably should put some decent on the floor.
Yeah. I would have won Nikola Jovic here. Why not, right?
He's got the upside. His upside is pretty immense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it looks like Adam Silver's coming up to the podium. Let's see what he's about to announce. We all expect it to be Blake Wesley, the guard out of Notre Dame. He's a little bit of a combo guard.
Will we still be surprised if DeJounte Murray gets traded away?
Blake Wesley, yes, I would be surprised. I would be legitimate. I would be
honestly.
I would be legit. I would be legitimately shocked if it.
I honestly wouldn't, because now you got Malachi Brannon, you got Blake Wesley, still got Devin Vassell, still got Lonnie Walker.
You can't mention those two. No. We can't mention Devin Vassell and Lonnie Walker because we're already out on them. Right?
Well, I'm for sure not on Lonnie Walker.
But
I'm for sure out on Lonnie Walker. The only thing he had going for him was his hair, and that hasn't worked out for him.
Right, he cut that.
Blake Leslie, real quick, guard out of Notre Dame, 6'5", 185 pounds, wiry guard who can knife through defense and score at the rim. He did receive a green room invite, so which means he was able to get his jacket and everything and get the hat. So good for him. But yeah, he should be somebody that competes for legit minutes for them next season.
Yeah, he should. I like this kid, man, out of Notre Dame, man. He played, has a good mid range, get after it on defense. Golly, man, they're stockpiling guards here in San Antonio. They're stockpiling guards. Jeremy Shoshan too. I mean, they're hoping that he could be like kind of a playmaker, stretch four for them. So
I think if they can get a third of what Draymond Green is out of him, they will be ecstatic. So here's some Blake Wesley highlights.
And is this getting traded to Houston? This
pick is going to Houston. It's part of the Christian Word trade. But because of the way trade rights work, Dallas technically has to make this pick, and then it will immediately go to Houston.
Mm-hmm. So who's going where now? Oh, this pick right here for Dallas.
This pick is going to Houston. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think that that ends up doing? Houston, this is their third first-round pick. What do you think they do?
I go Jaden. I go
Jaden Ivy.
Jaden Hardy.
Not Jaden Hardy, because I think Jalen Brunson's gone. I think Hardy. But this pick is going into Houston. This pick will be part of going to Houston. Never mind.
Yeah. So like they are. What do they? What in my mock draft, I had them taking Kennedy Chandler. I could still see them doing that. As Izzy mentioned when we did our mock draft, he's a 5-star recruit. So at one point,
Kennedy Chandler, I could see that for Houston. I'm gonna go with Nikola Jovic here. I still have him on the board. He was he's still here on my mock draft list at number 26. I'm gonna stick to it, Nikola Jovic, right here.
So you still got Wendell Moore on the board at this point. You got there's still some quality names on the board that we probably thought would be gone by now, like including the likes of E.J. Liddell, Ty Washington. Like we thought some of these dudes would be gone by now.
So what was just tweeted out that at 26, Minnesota's landing on Duke Wendell Moore at 26. Minnesota doesn't have the 26th pick in this draft. So
she is, Izzy. She is. I'm just.
Man, hey, man,
it's okay. It's okay.
For reasons,
I get it.
For reasons why I just don't want to blurt it out because but yeah, woo wee.
Anyways, we'll just say that Minnesota's landing on Duke's Wendell Moore at 26. They don't have the 26th pick unless there's been a trade between now and which is entirely possible.
This is on my TV. It's still saying Mavericks proposed trade to the Rockets. I'm not seeing this goes to anyone else. What's his name? They got Scott Drew on the board right now. He has turned Baylor into a champion.
They got.
All right, here we go.
So he's announcing the other pick. 4 second-round picks.
Second-round picks.
Hold on.
All right.
They had to get all the details right.
Houston. I like that for Houston, man. I think Wendell Moore is going to be a nice player, man. I think he's going to be a nice player in the NBA, man. He's a leader too, bro. He's so versatile too, man. He's a playmaker. He's a big shot maker. He can play defense. He knows how to work the floor, man. This dude, I love this pick right here, man. I think when it's all said and done, I think Wendell Moore will be a borderline all-star in this league.
And I think Houston's done a pretty good job with this draft so far.
Yeah, again, if you're gonna rebuild, right? This is part of the rebuild is hitting on talent. That's why Sacramento has been bad for
Forever.
10 years, right? Like some of the guys have turned out, some of the guys haven't. If you're Houston, the best you can, like the only thing you can do is hope that your young guys pan out, right? Jabari Smith, a cornerstone of your franchise for a while. Same thing with Jalen Green. This is Kevin Porter Jr.'s second team, and he's had rocky starts or rocky stints at both locations. It didn't end well in Cleveland. He literally left the game mid-game and went home when he was in Houston. Him and Christian Wood. They did
So
like they left.
Minnesota acquired this pick from Houston via the Christian Wood trade with Dallas. I'm not I don't know how.
I'm so confused.
No, I mean, like, how?
I'm
Like,
so
what is the
confused.
rest of the details on that deal? Like, that is like how?
Yeah, how did they acquire the pick from
Yeah,
Houston via the
like-
Christian Wood trade with
Like,
Dallas?
did they
so they
give
must
up
have
anything?
made. So they made a trade. Yeah, so they must have made. So the
Do
details
y'all
Like,
came
not
out. So
remember
this
when
that Wendell
do y'all
Morris.
not remember when they announced the Christian Wood
No,
Mavericks trade?
no, I know, but like, how did Minnesota get in there?
Minnesota's getting
They're
getting this
not.
pick. Yeah,
Yes, they are.
he's gonna get. Yeah, Woj just said that Minnesota's gonna acquire this pick.
Yeah, so Houston, Dallas, and Minnesota. It's a three-team trade now.
Huh.
Interesting.
And what did Minnesota give up to get this pick? Anything? What? Does we know? We care? Like, is it a future first-round pick? Like,
Not
Well, let me tell you now. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something right now. I even love this pick even more now for Minnesota. I love this pick even more now for Minnesota because now you got a guy that's gonna come off the bench and back up Anthony Edwards and back up D'Angelo Russell. You know,
and he's a junior. He's a little bit older, 20 years old. His NBA comp is Evan Turner.
Yeah. I mean, Evan Turner was a solid pro for a long time. Yeah. So former number 2 overall pick. So
he got way super overpaid, but yeah, at one point. But I will be interested to see how Minnesota finagled their way into that trade. Like I will. I cannot wait. Like, it's the things that keeps me alive, TJ. All right, I don't have much else. Okay.
What?
Like, how did Minnesota finagle their way into that trade, man? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know.
On the clock now is Miami Heat, the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. As we mentioned when we talked about their mock draft, they need to get another guy who can put the ball in the basket in a more consistent manner. What do we think they're going to do here? Miami.
I mean, Ty Washington makes a lot of sense. He provides playing, scoring, playmaking. He can create his own shot, like something they desperately need. Like it's either him or EJ Liddell because they need bigs. They do need a big. They need a backup big. Like PJ Tucker is likely gone.
100%. Not likely is gone. They're not going to be able to afford to sign him.
And I'm with Izzy. I don't want to see PJ Tucker in a Bulls uniform. We have enough dudes who do that. Like,
yeah,
we don't need another PJ. Like, we don't need another player like that.
But yeah, I mean, even the guy that just showed on TV, Jaden Hardy, who's been in that green waiting forever. You know, at one point, Jaden Hardy was one of the number 1 prospects in this draft.
Number 2, and he was the number 2 recruit.
Way at the beginning of the process. You know, and he was, you know, now he's still sitting there at 28 or 29, whatever pick this happens to be. And, you know, he makes a lot of sense there too. I mean, he's a guy who can score the basketball. You know, we talk about this all the time. The learning curve from going from high school to playing with pros is steep.
And he kind of benefits from spending time in the G League because he's playing against former and current pros, right? He's playing against like the G League at night. Like I'm pretty sure they played against like the Santa Cruz Warriors. I'm pretty sure he saw some of Klay Thompson on his rehab assignment. Right? He's gonna like that's a current pro. Like he has a teammate.
Oh my God, that is what's happening with Kemba Walker. They're using that trade exception they got for Jeremy Grant to trade for Kemba Walker and then waive him. What?
Yeah, it was a buyout.
All right.
Yeah, Bobby Marks. Yeah, Bobby Marks just said that. Bobby Marks.
That Jeremy Grant trade makes literally no sense whatsoever. Okay. But I guess they turned Jeremy Grant
$20 million as part of the buyout in OKC, only to recoup most of it in New York. The likelihood is that Walker will go into the trade exception created once the Jeremy Grant trade is finalized.
Yeah, and they got that. So Adam Silver's on the clock. He's at the podium. The pick is hold on one second.
So Kemba Walker's pretty much essentially going to get bought out by the Pistons. Yes. He's going to become a free agent.
He is.
Essentially. And at this point, I know let's wait for the pick because I want to touch on
Nikola Jovic. Nikola Jovic.
Nikola Jovic. Okay, because Dalen Terry isn't there on my board anymore. So yeah, one pick off Nikola Jovic. Okay, they get somebody versatile, man. They get a versatile forward here, man. They roll the dice. I love this pick for Miami, man. He may not be the physical guy that they want, but
yeah, it's a high upside pick. You can even kind of wait for him to see if he develops.
He is super raw. Started playing basketball at the age of 13. Super raw. I mean, he's made incredible strides, though. I mean, Serbia is not the best basketball league in the world, but
that's more believable than some of those dudes where it's like he started playing basketball at 17. I'm like, how does he start playing basketball at 17 and end up in the NBA? Joel Embiid, like that makes no sense. You picked up a basketball way before you turned 17, bro. And
those are some funky uniforms too.
It's Serbian. And he was 19, so yeah, he's been playing for about 6 years.
He's got a weird shot release. Like it's real slow. Like
he does got a really weird.
I wonder if
that's gonna have to pick up in the league.
I wonder if he's gonna have trouble.
He's gonna have to change that in the league.
Yeah, like that. I bet he's gonna have trouble getting that.
He's gonna have to change that in the league. I mean, I thought Luka was gonna have to change this. I mean, we may be wrong because I thought Luka was gonna have to change his shot. Because every time Luka takes that step back and he shoots, I'm like, oh my God, it's getting blocked, and no, it goes in. So
well, he's got a quick release, but like that, like when you watch his release, man, like his standstill jump shot release, like there's no way that's gonna work in the NBA. Like it's slow.
No, it's gonna get blocked.
Yeah. But he's got some upside. He's got some intangibles.
He's got that one. He's got some good moves in the post. He's got that 1 foot turnaround post jumper, fadeaway jumper in the post, out the mid post. That everybody pretty much has in the league now.
And he can create a little bit post fadeaway. He can create for other people on his team. Good ball handler. I mean, he could turn into like Luka Light, dude. Like
maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean. I look at the Miami Heat. They're gonna need this kid. He's gonna come off the bench. Obviously, he's gonna have to play.
I also don't know when he'll be coming over. So like, I imagine
he's gonna have to. He's gonna want to get minutes. He's gonna have to play defense.
I imagine teams will like do their research and like if this guy's gonna come over right away or not. Like if they're gonna have to buy out some of his contract over there. Oof.
Patrick Baldwin Jr. might be the pick here for the Warriors.
I love that pick.
Baldwin Jr.
I thought Patrick Baldwin should have like maybe transferred to another school and like maybe played one more year of college. But is that right? Is that coming from Woj?
Yeah, it's coming from Woj. Yeah.
And I do not understand
Huh.
this Detroit Pistons situation.
I don't understand this Golden State pick.
Patrick Ball. I mean,
Me neither. Why are you going to get Patrick Baldwin Jr. when you have Jonathan Kuminga already?
A 6'10"
and Moody.
I mean, they're not even close to the same player. I mean, Patrick Baldwin Jr. is like a 6'10" power forward. I know he played a lot of guard. I know he played guard, but he's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, no, he's gonna shoot it. I mean, he could shoot it, but
like the only skill that he has right now.
Jonathan Kuminga is, from what I saw with Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody this past year, both of those guys next year are going to be major contributors off the bench for the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I don't know. I like a guy like EJ Liddell right here for them, in my opinion, because they don't lose much. If you got EJ Liddell, if you get EJ Liddell, coming off the bench for Draymond, you don't lose much out the point forward position. And then you can actually switch Kuminga over to his natural position with the small forward, and he could put Moses Moody at shooting guard.
Especially if Kevon Looney ends up walking in free agency, like EJ Liddell would be a good replacement for him.
Yeah, he's a good rebounder. I mean, he's an undersized power forward, but he's athletic. He's got a knack for rebounding.
He's
perfect ball. Whatever.
He shot it like almost basically 40% from the 3-point line last season.
Yeah. Oh wow, Patrick Baldwin Jr.
Patrick Baldwin Jr. is the pick by the Golden State Warriors.
I don't get this pick. To me, I don't get this one.
Number 5 recruit. They're going off of this. TJ, he's the number 5 recruit in the nation.
At one point,
yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. Well, at one point, he was the number 5 recruit in the nation.
You talked about this yesterday. That you think that his experience at Milwaukee may scare teams from going, like players from going to like small schools like Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly do, because look at McCord Maker. But look at McCord Maker, right? He went to Howard, right? And he was an ESPN top 100 recruit. He could have went to anywhere in the nation, and now he's in the NBL.
That's the Harvard of black colleges.
I know. Yeah, no.
I know. I mean, that's why he went there.
Institution.
It's literally the Harvard of black colleges.
No, of HBCUs.
Yeah.
No, it's a great institution, but they don't play as high level basketball as he could. Like McCord Maker could have went elsewhere, and so that's not my point. It's just my point is that a lot of these ESPN 100 guys, they may start looking like, okay, the smaller school route may not be, it may be better to just go to the G League, or it may just be better to go to the NBL than just go to a smaller school. And I get Patrick Baldwin going to Milwaukee because his dad was a coach.
So and that's my knock with David. Like, what's so wrong with wanting to play for his father?
No, I didn't say that. I just said Izzy made that point, but this did affect his draft stack. Like he was a top 5 pick, and he goes to Milwaukee, doesn't play particularly well. Okay, so I guess the way Minnesota finagled their way into this trade is that they swap picks with the Rockets. So the Rockets are on the clock next.
Okay, so the Rockets are gonna go get Ty Washington at 29. That's what
yeah.
That's what Woj was just saying. God dang you, Woj, you're just ruining everything for me on draft night. But you're doing a hell of a job though. Keep it up.
I mean, yeah, he's the czar when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it right now, man. Golly, man. Ty Washington, big point guard for Houston. Houston just stockpiling talent, man. That's it. That's it. And they're hoping for a buyout with John Wall. That's basically my gist on this. Hoping for a buyout with John Wall, get him off the books. Or no, I mean, they're not going to get him off the books completely because they're going to pay him over some time. But get him out the locker room, let him go be in a contender.
Yeah, imagine they're going to.
Can you imagine John Wall on the Heat? What about John Wall? What about John Wall on the Heat?
I
Immediate
can't
upgrade.
imagine John
In
Wall.
my opinion, I mean,
I can't imagine John Wall anywhere because he's making $47 million, and no one's gonna want that on their books. Right, bro? Like he opted in. He can't go anywhere. He's stuck there, and they're stuck with him.
but
they can buy out.
They might be exercising a buyout though.
How? Who? Like you won't? Like how? How?
What do you mean? All they have to do is reach an agreement, and then they just basically pay him, and then he basically gets off their book.
So you just don't.
What other thing is TJ? Well, TJ, they're getting all these damn guards. Why are they keeping John Wall on the pine? They're getting all these guards now.
Like I said in the group chat, they never not wanted John Wall to play. All they wanted was him to come off the bench. And he didn't want to do that. And they're like, dude, you're coming off an injury. We're going to ease you back into this. We're not just going to throw you into the starting lineup with you coming off an injury. And he's like, no.
No, actually, he wasn't injured. He wasn't coming off injured. He didn't get hurt the season before. He played that season.
He played 40 games.
Yeah, they didn't shut him down because he was hurt. They shut him down because they stunk. They stunk.
But also no, I get what TJ's. I get what no. I understand what he's saying because they didn't want him. They didn't want his point is very valid because if he starts, he hasn't been healthy, consistently. So he starts and he gets injured. Now they can't trade him, or they don't have a suitor for him. They still don't got a suitor for him.
They were never gonna trade him. Fuck. They were never gonna.
Do you not see this trade? Oh my gosh, that trade is crazy.
Which one?
Memphis, Houston, Dallas.
Yeah.
Or Minnesota, Houston, Dallas. Yeah.
Whatever
the hell is going on. I don't even know.
So, yeah, the pick is in. Guard Ty Washington out of Kentucky. Let's take a look at some of his numbers.
Now, that's a hell of a suit. I like that suit. I like that suit right there by Ty Washington. I like that suit. That's a nice suit right there. Is that Louis Vuitton?
So he's like
Louis Vuitton right there.
He's a 20-year-old freshman, 6'3", 185 pounds, guard. Hold on. So he had some injuries and inconsistency in draft stock a little bit. Still one of the most talented guards in this draft. Creating pick and roll, good enough to keep a shooter, to keep defenses honest. Could shoot the basketball a little bit. They're comparing him to AI. Oh, okay, never mind. Chelsea we're number 3.
No. They're saying he went number 3 because of AI. No, he ain't AI.
But yeah,
hell no. He ain't Bubba
John
Chuck,
Wall
baby.
has played. John Wall has played 113 games over 3 seasons. But yeah, let's put him on a different team. Come on, man.
He's played 72 games in 4 seasons. 72 games in 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He played 30 games like a few years ago, and then he played 40 2 years ago, and he's played goose eggs in between all that. Yeah, he hasn't been the pinnacle of health and prosperity. That's for damn sure. So let's take a look at some highlights for Ty Washington before we get into the final pick here at the.
And I gotta head out pretty soon. Wait, this is the last pick in the first round anyway, right?
Yeah, so this pick is interesting.
This last pick of the first round. So
yes. So on the clock. So this pick was
Denver's going to get Peyton Watson.
So this pick was originally part of the OKC trade for Chris Paul, right? Between the Phoenix Suns, and then OKC traded this pick to Denver for Michael Green and some stuff. So now Denver Nuggets are on the clock now because they traded for some stuff and JaMychal Green. Why do they need it, JaMychal Green?
Denver's going to go get another true freshman out of UCLA,
Peyton Watson.
Kid that's a tall, kid that's a a lengthy wing that can shoot it. Whatever, man. I think there's some other guys that are better than some of these guys. There's a lot of the reaches here in this first round. I just don't get it, man. I honestly think that the top of the second round is going to be better than some of these picks that these guys picked in the first round, in my opinion.
Well, if there's a team that is known for finding gems, it's the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, they found Nikola Jokic in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the trade right there. So they got Michael Green and a 2020.
Still got Jaden Hardy on the board. You still got
Yeah.
Liddell, Kennedy Chandler on the board. I mean, Peyton Watson.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit of a head scratching.
I get it. I get it why they go with Peyton Watson. It's Michael Porter Jr.'s health. I get it. I get it. You know,
I don't think you should reach for an insurance policy. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That Detroit Pistons trade, that I don't understand why. It's a real head scratcher for me. I don't understand what they were thinking or what they were doing at all. I can't even find this guy on this list. Yeah. Here's the pick. Peyton Watson, guard, UCLA. I don't have his numbers in front of me. Like he's not somebody who was on my radar. If you know a little bit more about him. Oh yeah, I got him. So he's freshman, 6'8", 220 pounds. He's actually
Yeah, you got it right.
EJ Liddell. So if I'm the Bulls, I try to find a way to get back into the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can trade Kobe White for a second round pick. Kobe White is worth at least a second round pick. I got to get back, cause a guy like EJ Liddell is still on the board. A guy like Jaden Hardy is still on the board. Kai Soto's still on the board. Kofi Cockburn still on the board. It's still a lot of good players left on this board. And I'm gonna let y'all later because I gotta go.
All right.
So y'all enjoy the rest of the day.
And we're gonna break down the rest of the draft tomorrow. React to winners and losers of the draft, and we'll do a full recap at some point after this weekend. This has been our coverage of the first round. Thank you very much for anybody who checked out the coverage. We really do appreciate it. This is some highlights from Peyton Watson that you're seeing right now on your screen. Let me go ahead and share our last graphic of the day. If you guys let me know down in the comment section what you guys thought about the graphics presentation. I put a lot of work into them, so I would some feedback would be great. I would really appreciate it.
You did a great job. You did a great job, David. Great job.
Yeah, thank you. So this has been our 2022 NBA round draft to first round coverage. This has been presented by Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We do put a lot of work into this show. I've been David Huppman. Right there is Mr. Israel Rivera, CEO of Prime Sports World. And we wanted to thank you very much for joining us. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, you come to the right place. We go live basically every single day, bring you the most up-to-date content. Enjoy the rest of your draft. Izzy, what we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
brought it for 3 hours and 14.
I have been talking. I have been talking for basically 3.5 hours. And that does not include that I teach at a school where I had to talk all day at school. So,
He's done talking. He's ready to go to bed.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good night, man.
All right. Have a nice one, man. Bye.
Peace out, guys.